Test, 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 test. What it do, y'all? We are doing political debates. If y'all are a Trump supporter or if you're a conservative and you want to debate, hop in the box. Come tell me why. Why? Why is your brain not good? What did they tell you to vote conservative? What's going on, chat? What's up, Jody Lynn? Welcome, y'all. Guys, don't forget to tap the screen. Let's get this party started. I know it's a late one, but we are on a weird schedule tonight. Tap it, tap it, tap it. My mic is really, really quiet. Okay. Anybody else think my mic is quiet? What's up, Christian? My mic sounds really loud to me, y'all. My mic is at 100%. Oh, here we go. I can hear you. Let's try that. My mic. Now my mic sounds good on YouTube. All right, we are turning back on the phone. It doesn't sound too loud. It's just right to me. Okay. P-Town says it's quiet. This might be a TikTok thing. My mic is at 500%, which is as high as it goes. What's going on, y'all? Thank you, Georgia, for the heart. Chat, let's get some taps on the screen. Let's get to 10K really quick. Fill this bar up. Fill this bar up. Get some shares out. This is an abnormal time for me to be alive. Let's freaking rage, y'all. Let me get my stuff on chargers, too. Cuban Joe, thank you for the follow. Frick, Donald Trump is right. www. If you're a Trump supporter and you want to debate, hop in the box. We are doing political debates. I am a liberal looking for conservative. If you're a conservative or Republican or a libertarian, hop in the box. Come tell me why. Why should I vote for them? How we doing, y'all? How we doing? I just woke up like, I don't know, an hour or two ago. I slept for way too long. I tried to make myself sleep as long as I could to get on track. I have a flight tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So we're on an early schedule / late schedule, whatever you want to call it. Go MAGA hunting. We might do that in a little bit. This might be hard. Thank you, Zilla. Goodness gracious. Tomorrow is Friday, chat. We're an hour and a half away from Friday over here. Thank Aloysia. Thank you. Crasso boy. I'm real smart. Being manly means being dumb. Holy shit, what the fuck? Hello, are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am. I support God, but I support Trump for this. For the America.
Okay, what does God have to do with this?
I mean, he's not. Trump is not God, but I do support Trump.
Cool, man. Why do you support Trump?
I mean, a lot of reasons. He's going to make America great again. We're still waiting for him to make it great. Um, Once he does, we'll have this country back on track the way it used to be.
Can you give me some things that he's gonna do to make it great again?
Well, it's not a guarantee that he will do it. In order to accomplish it, he may have to do some things that go against the Constitution. Um, so
When was
it's
America great?
1888, 1904,
Wait,
1910.
what? Why was it great back then? Didn't we have like Jim Crow and all sorts of really bad segregation laws back then? Could women even
No, there
vote back
weren't
then?
there weren't segregation laws then. They didn't happen until the 1940s.
No, we definitely had laws back
Yeah, we
then.
had laws, but
Different.
not segregation laws.
Did everybody have rights back then?
Uh-huh.
No. Could women vote?
Well, they don't need to vote.
Why don't they need to vote?
Their husband will vote for them.
Are you trolling me, dude?
I know what the word means.
Are
I
you
know that I know what that word means.
Is the little girl in your profile picture your future bride?
I mean, where are you coming up with that?
I just got a text saying that that's the case. Is that what's happening? That usually would be just like an easy no.
I mean, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. Are you somebody that's grooming children though?
No, I would never groom children. That's absolutely disgusting. That happens after marriage.
What happens after marriage?
Well, I mean, the grooming starts after the marriage. That's why it's called the bride and the groom.
Okay, there's two different meanings to the word groom here.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the latter.
Okay, is the person in your profile picture a prospective wife for you?
No,
Who is it?
none of your business. I have 25 children.
What the fuck? Why do you have 25 children?
Well, soon I'll have 28.
Why?
I have 3 wives that are pregnant.
Is this in line with Christianity?
Absolutely. I mean, if you believe in the Bible, I don't know if you do, but it says, be fruitful and multiply. In order to multiply, you must have more than one.
Holy shit, dude. This is wild. Okay, so all right, I'm stuck on this. What was so good about the country in 1910?
Well, I mean, we had, they were, I don't know what year prohibition went into effect, but I mean, we were trying to get rid of alcohol because they were on the track to make America great then. And they were starting to do it. And then prohibition happened and everything went south after that.
Okay,
I mean, really,
so do you think
if
that for,
people have self-control, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you understand why we had to not do that, right?
Why we had to not do what?
Why we had to reel back prohibition because of the explosive nature of like organized crime
Yeah,
after
I know
we
there was a
outlawed
lot of
something.
illegal stuff happening at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of underground outlaw stuff that was happening that was very bad. I hear you.
Okay. And you just don't believe that women should vote.
Well, I mean,
can you give me reasoning for that? Like, what if we made laws that were against women's interests? Shouldn't they be able to vote to say no, that's not okay
well,
with me?
we created a law when we gave them the right to vote, which goes against their interest. We
That
no
goes
longer
against their
protect them
interests.
now. No, actually, it doesn't because if you look at an average woman that's 35 now and single, she has nobody to take care of her. Where at 35, you're almost beyond the point of having children. and you've passed up 18 years of being able to have children, and you're not married. So for the women that are married and have had children, then obviously they have somebody to take care of them. But what about the women that don't, or the females that don't?
So I think what you're doing is your beliefs probably infantilize women, which is a really disturbing dynamic because it puts them in a place kind of like a second-class citizen, and you don't really give them
No, they're not
the
second
opportunity to
class.
take care of themselves. I know plenty of women who take care of themselves. They don't need the help of men. In fact, the only thing they need help from men from is protecting them from other men.
Oh, so they do need help. They do need protection from other people, is what you're admitting.
Yeah, but not in every facet of their life.
Okay, so if they do need protection, then shouldn't we protect them? Which I totally agree with.
Okay, what kind of protection are you alluding to? Like physical protection?
I mean, protect them in all aspects so that they remain wholesome until marriage, and
Wholesome?
that they yeah, wholesome and pure.
So you're some sort of weird purity, like you,
Well,
I'm guessing you don't
let's
let
look at
women.
reality.
Okay,
Go ahead. You were going to say something and I interrupted. I'm sorry.
please invite you. Tell me about reality.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a moment of silence for all the males that tried to marry whores as housewives. You
Isn't the
know,
capital of
I mean, there's
divorce the Bible Belt?
what's that?
Isn't the capital of divorce rates in the Bible Belt the place where you guys are the most prominent? You guys do the most failure in
I mean,
marriage.
yeah, and that could be a lot of that problem could be from the men, not being too promiscuous. I don't know. I'm just giving an example of what it could be. But if women were not in the workplace, then men wouldn't have the opportunity to be promiscuous.
That's a very disturbing dynamic. So you're victim blaming women because
No,
they're
I'm not
being out
victim
there
blaming them.
working. And I think the natural dynamic of what you're trying to like prescribe America like allows this guy like look what you're doing. You have four wives. Is that even
I'm a
legal?
polygamist. No, it's not legal. We don't want it to be legal because then other people would do it that should not be doing it.
So you're gate. Have you ever been told that you're in a cult?
Oh, a lot of times.
Do you believe in Mormonism?
No,
Do you think that's a cult?
I don't know. I mean, not part of it, so I don't know. No, I don't. I don't believe any religion is a cult.
You don't think any religion's a cult?
Yeah, I don't think Islam or Judaism or any of the religions are a cult.
Okay, what are your qualifiers for a cult that make these religions fall short?
So a qualifier for a cult would be something that is of a sinister mind, something that has evil intentions, that does not promote anything good, and yet promotes people to follow them.
I don't think that's in anybody's description of a cult besides yours.
Well, that's my opinion of a cult.
Okay, but what about all these like Jim Jones? I don't think he had anything. I think he was pretty much like you, right?
Uh, what do you mean he was like me?
Multiple partners, basically um, convinced a group of people that he was holier than thou, and told them that he knew the
I
one
don't
correct
I don't
walk to
I don't
righteousness.
believe I'm holier than any other person living.
Yes, you do, because you said that you wouldn't
No,
allow
I
other
do not.
people. Well, you said you wouldn't allow other people to have multiple wives. That's just for
Yeah,
someone
but
like
that
you.
doesn't mean that you're holier than them.
But you're in some way more eligible than the average person.
No, not eligible.
Okay, so
It
why
comes
can't
down
somebody
to
else get married to multiple wives and you can?
because it's against the law.
That's strictly just because it's the law.
Yeah, I mean
You you just alluded to the fact that it should be illegal because then other
it
people
is
would do it.
illegal.
Okay, but
It is
why?
illegal
Why should it be illegal?
because other people will use it for selfish uh designs. We do it to procreate. There's a big difference.
Can't you just like
So,
donate
like
your sperm to a sperm
for
bank?
so for me, I do not have to be attracted to somebody to procreate with them. I just have to be married to them. Attraction is not a necessity to procreate.
Okay, so what are your qualifications for somebody who can have multiple wives?
Somebody that is approved in the quality of their life, living a life uh, of basically saying no to not giving into temptations.
So somebody who walks. Okay, how old is the girl in your picture, dude?
I'm not going to get into that. That's none of your
I'm
business.
sorry, my audience can't get over it. And quite frankly, I don't think I want to platform you if this is something that
I don't know what
is
people are
romantic.
saying, but I can tell you this: that a lot of people will lie because I do not like the LGBT community.
Okay.
So you'll have some people that will make up stuff.
Yeah, I know, but what is the nature of your relationship with the person in your picture?
I'm not going to get into something about my child.
Your child. That's your child?
I have 25 children. I don't
Dude,
know
this
who
is
you are.
rough. This is
Yeah,
rough.
I don't know who you are.
No, he's lying. That is his future wife. I've spoken to this man before. She's a minor.
Do you think that you should be permitted to have multiple wives considering you're a liar?
Who said I'm lying?
This person right here?
Well, I mean, she doesn't know me.
I do know you. I've talked to you, unfortunately, too many times.
You
You
know
have
me.
admitted to me. You have admitted to me that her parents have okayed your relationship, and that when she turns 18, that you two will be wedded.
Well, is 18 an adult?
Oh my god.
It
All
is,
right.
yes.
All right.
Right.
I hope you get face fucked with a shovel, dude. That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
there you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, he's been outed as a PDF on the app, so I just wanted to get that vermin out of here. All right, I'm gonna drop down. Love you, Pickles.
All right, love you. Can we ban that guy? I need another I just took a shower. I think I need another shower. Chat, these are your MAGA friends. They're fucking weird, dude. They're weird. Hello, is this a Trump supporter?
Drop down. Love you, Pickles. Hello?
Hi, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, what do you like about Trump?
Well, I like the way he gets stuff done. Like, I don't necessarily like everything that he's getting done, but he finds a way to get things done. And that's been my problem with the Democratic Party. I used to be a Democrat, and I got tired of them just getting the votes from us and not delivering.
Can you tell me one thing Biden passed during his administration?
One thing that Biden passed,
Yeah.
not in particular. No, I
So
cannot.
you don't fucking know anything about what we actually get done? You just say it?
No. Okay. I don't know what you get done, but I know what you do not get done. And we can talk about that. That's what I was speaking about.
Trump
I
has
didn't
passed
say
like
I
one
agree
major
with
bill
the thing.
this time around. He's passed one major bill, and then the rest of the stuff he's done, he can't govern whatsoever. He just writes executive orders. They get deemed illegal a year and a half later. If that's what you call getting stuff done, I think the most that he's gotten done is like enriching himself and ripping off Americans and making our taxes higher and bankrupting us. You name a thing he's actually like doing that's good?
Could I possibly ask, did you support Kamala?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you this let me ask you, what took Obama so long to come out and support her? Do you remember? Do
I
you
don't know.
remember the gap?
My vote doesn't really like isn't contingent on like some random person's support of that candidate. I just look at their policies.
Okay, I wouldn't say Obama's a random person. I mean, he's
Sure. I don't
a
look for
major
authoritative
figure.
figures to tell me how to vote.
Okay, okay. Well, I was kind of ticked off when Obama sat in a room full of black men and said that they didn't vote for her because they were misogynistic or whatnot of things of that nature.
When we look
You
at the
know,
two
and
candidates like qualifications, it's got to be one of the two things. I haven't really heard a good like qualified opinion about how Biden or Kamala weren't qualified. Like on paper, Kamala was qualified like 7 times more than Trump. Trump was a game show host, and Kamala had 27 years in experience in the government, worked in all 3 branches, has a Juris Doctorate,
Mhm.
has worked for the people her whole life, has been elected to every
Yeah,
position in her adult life. I think that
except president.
she's shown that
Except
she's
president.
qualified.
She hasn't been elected president.
Sure, but I don't think that a bunch of rednecks who were lied to electing Trump made him more qualified than her.
Um, I mean, it was I mean, a large amount of the country thought that he was more qualified. That's how he got voted in.
Would you have you ever been called a sheep? What does a sheep do?
Hey, I've and this part's probably gonna either make you laugh or something, but I've gotten hate from the left side. I've gotten hate from the right side. So I feel like, hey, if both sides is hating you, you must be doing something right. Because I call out both sides.
I don't think you're doing anything right. You don't even know a single thing that Biden passed, right? So like your like opinion on who to vote for was simply based on rhetoric. It sounds like you were just eating up like the soap opera that was taking place in the news.
And and you know what? I can actually, I'll actually even somewhat. I don't like the way you worded it, but I'll agree with somewhat of that because I'm a worker. You know, I work a full-time job, so my thing is that like I don't follow every bit of politics. You know, I pick up what I can from the news. I'm working a lot of overtime, and and I think that that's where a lot of politicians, I believe they count on that. They count on you not being able to read. You know, they put out these bills that are 200-300 pages. I don't have time to sit down and read through a 200-300 page bill. I got real bills that need to be paid or things get cut off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get that, but like you could at least get the gist of like what each bill does.
But
And for
but I
instance,
wish you would have asked me what Trump did.
the big beautiful bill is the
It,
epitome of that. It's like this big huge bill that gave his friends tax breaks and bankrupted the country and took away medical care and social safety nets from people. And 95% of
and
Americans paid higher taxes last year. And some people won't even believe that, but that's the literal truth. So he basically like conned you with this like no tax on overtime shit and took more
mhm.
money.
Well, and see, I kind of, and my thing isn't so much to disagree and have this hard line of disagreement with you. That's not my intent, because some of the things you're saying, I align with, like the no tax on overtime. It wasn't what he presented it to be. Now, did he pass that? Did when I did my taxes, did they go back and look at my overtime? And I think it was something like, I forgot how they did it, but like 0.07% or something like that off of. I mean, you know what I mean? It happened. It happened. And I would say that that was still better than nothing. That was better than nothing at all. That was better than them keeping all of your taxes
So
from your
have you
overtime.
have you ever
You
looked
see
at
what I'm saying?
Kamala's proposed tax plan?
Um, and that, I have not. I have not. And I felt that she didn't present it that well. I felt, and this is, and this, I guess, is to defend people that would have voted for Kamala and decided not to. In their defense, I would say she didn't present it that well. She didn't present it in a timely fashion. Everything was rushed towards the end. We're trying to convince Biden not to run again, and he's saying he wants to run, then he don't want to run, and then she gets thrown in, and then it's taken Obama, 2 or 3 weeks after she stated that to come out and say, hey, we support Kamala. Like
I didn't even know this
it
whole
was a
thing about
crap
Obama.
show.
I don't know if that's even as important as, like, I don't know, Trump being a felon and, like, trying to steal the last
Yeah.
election with fake slates of electors and, like, I don't know, having like 88 other criminal indictments. And I don't know, like, it turns out that his plan this whole time was to get into office and do what he's finally finished doing. He's given himself full immunity to run the most corrupt organization to ever be in the Oval Office. I don't know if you knew this, but he just he sued himself for $1.8 billion. And he's going to give it to people who also tried to overthrow the election, and also people who are closely tied to Epstein. And like, and from this day forward, he could just be as openly corrupt as he wants to. He can take Russian money, he could take Israeli money, and he could bet on things that he makes policies for, and do insider trading in the open, and we can't investigate him. We can't do anything about it. And I feel like that is the biggest nail in the coffin for this country. I feel like we are past the point of no return. He has completely fucked up this country.
Oh. Okay, and sir, before we go any further, first of all, sir, I want to commend you on how you're running your podcast. You're live right now, and this conversation, the way it's going. It's not a bunch of yelling and cussing and disrespecting each other. I appreciate that. We're having a real conversation and getting somewhere. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Also, I have the tax policies on the screen now, if you're able to look at them. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it on the screen here. I get now I'm glad that you brought up the 1.8 million or $1.8 billion thing that he did for the J6ers.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was, I looked at it and I got ticked off. And the reason I was ticked off is I said, wait, this guy has been back in office for less than 2 years, and he's put J6ers in a position to be millionaires when the black voters are pretty much the foundation of the Democratic Party. And when they've asked for reparations over and over, all they hear is, it's complicated, we can't get it done. And they've heard this for 40-something years or more.
Yeah, we're talking about 1,500 people, though, not millions.
But sir, even with that being said, we're here. It's still a more, like what you just said. Here it is again. It's complicated. No, if I just watch this man do it, I don't want to hit 40 years of complication. You mean
yeah, nobody has been able.
8 years of Obama, 4 more years of 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Biden, and before those two, we had I believe it was 8 years of Clinton. So 8 and 8, 16, 4 Biden. So in 20 years, if this was at the top of the agenda, it would have gotten done, and it wasn't done for the people that they run to for their vote.
I don't know how this is showing you how Trump is trying to care for any sort of demographic of voters other than the people who are willing to break the law for him.
It's not, but it's showing me that the Democrats are getting votes. They put the vote in their pocket and they say, I'll see you next election year. And they don't take care of their business.
You have no idea if that's true. You don't even know any laws that were passed in the last 8, 10, 20 years, probably. You have probably no idea.
I know reparations wasn't passed.
Okay,
I know that.
That's a huge ask, and I agree that we could and should do some sort of reparations. But again, we can just talk about doing the very least. What he has done is pulled 3.4 million people off of food stamps. Who do you think that largely affects? He has pulled people off of SNAP. He's pulled people off of Social Security. He has doubled people's medical bills. He's kicked people off of Medicare, Medicaid. That is everybody.
And then we have to look at Yes, sir. But then we also have to look at the other side of that. And the other side of that, and I can't believe you got me defending it right now, but the other side of that is the fact that when it came to the food stamps, for for lack of better words, for the food stamp thing and the not being able to go to the store and buy junk food and stuff, diabetes is real.
That doesn't
And we
stop
have we
this.
have we have a problem in America health wise when we look at the health of our children growing up, and we go to elementary schools and we see children that are overweight and different things of that. So we have to, we have to look at both sides. We can't just look
Dude,
at the one
the
side of
thing
it.
is, starving people doesn't take care of people with diabetes and who are overweight. In fact, it contributes to it because food deserts contribute to people being malnourished. So when you're given a X amount of money and all you can buy is a certain amount of groceries, you're going to buy the most calorie-rich groceries that you can. And also people who are like who have to drive miles and miles to go buy like healthy food, or the healthy food that is more expensive than regular food, that's a product
Hmm.
of that. It's not a product of people not starving enough.
I now I can see that, but can we at least acknowledge the fact of he's taking junk food off of the table? Can we at least agree with that, or no? We don't
Dude,
agree that
he
he's taking
just
junk food.
he just forced the arm of the FDA commissioner to approve fucking flavored vapes and suntan beds for kids. He doesn't care about anyone's health.
Okay, we're now we're talking apples and oranges. Just talking about the food and that's what you started with. Can
I
we say? Can you at least say that yes, Trump did take junk food off the table for food stamps? Can
Sure
you at
he
least
did.
say?
Sure, that's great. He's
Okay,
also
thank
he's
you, sir.
also
Thank you.
made people who are like with diabetes, these people are more likely to just straight up die because they don't have the medical care they need. So I don't know how this is a win for anybody. I don't go around and gauge whether or not people need food assistance or have food insecurity,
Yes,
especially 1 in 5 children. It's not their fucking fault. He ripped
I
that
get
away
that. I
from
get
them.
that. Now, can we talk about the children though? Because that's one of the major reasons that I called your. Would this be considered a podcast?
Sure.
Podcast live stream? Okay. One of the main reasons I called is because I seen that the Democrats, and I couldn't believe they had the nerve to fix their mouth to say it. Asked student athletes that have received scholarships to not attend certain colleges. Have you seen that?
No, but I would also say that Trump has defunded mostly historically black colleges too, and he has defunded a lot of
Uh,
colleges.
didn't he give $255 million to HBCUs?
Yeah, that was a huge decrease. Obama gave 4 billion, and Trump said, "Fuck that. We're gonna do 1/4 of that." And then Biden came back in and did
Is there a way
16
you can?
billion.
Is there a way you can put those numbers up on the screen, please, sir?
Yeah,
Is there a way that you can do that?
yeah. Biden, by the way, 16 billion. All right.
Okay, I would love to see those numbers if that's
So here it is. Biden-Harris administration provided a historic record of 16 billion in whole government federal investments funding for historically black college. That's literally like 20 times more than your 250 million. It's chump change. Trump what he does is he fucks over the public and he calls it a win.
16 billion and I'm reading this. I'm not ignoring you, sir. I'm reading what you're putting up. We got the where when we're in the fight, that sticker's kind of in the way of. Thank you, sir. The funding has been distributed as one. Okay, I got you on that. But what I'm saying is,
Not to
I was
mention,
pretty.
he's deleted every remnant of something that mentions a black person in all sorts of historical monuments and libraries and everything because of his attacks on anti-DEI.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't think that DEI was the way that they're using DEI today. I don't believe that that was just aimed at black people. And if it was just aimed at black people, it hit more than just black people.
Wouldn't that be against what Republicans want? If something was aimed solely towards black people, wouldn't that be racist in your eyes?
Yeah. If it was something done to hurt black people, yes, that would be racist.
No, I'm talking about doing
Oh,
something like lifting up black people. The Republicans claim that that's racism towards white people.
yeah. Now, see, and my thing is, it's like we're blaming the Republicans, and I'm black. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm black, and I look at it like I'm not asking the Republican Party to do this and that for black people because black people are not the foundation of the Republican Party. The Republican Party don't come running to black people for votes. The Democrats do. So I look at the Democrats to deliver these things, and they have not.
How would you
And
know?
that's what.
How would you know? You didn't know that Biden gave 16 billion to HBCUs?
But okay, I will tell you this though. I will tell you I did not know that. But this is gonna. It's a mind screw right here. This is a mind screw. I voted for Biden. I voted. Now, I'm an independent voter. Trump's last term, before this term, his first term, by the end of it, I said, man, what the hell is going on? I said, man, we got to do something. We got to get him out. I voted for Biden. Biden got in there.
And
But
hell is
what
fresh
the
again on
heck?
your mind, and I hope you
Yeah,
do
what
the same thing this
I
time.
said, you see what I mean? I said, what the hell is this by the end of that? I said, what the hell is this? You know what I mean, sir? And I don't mean to
Yeah.
cuss on your live stream or
You can,
but
it's fine.
I was like, what is this? And then like the whole thing towards the end where I mean, the Democrats shot themselves in the foot in that election. And we can't blame anybody else except the Democrats for they couldn't get it together. If you couldn't even get it together to run an election, how the heck was you going to get it together and run a country?
Dude, Trump had a
we didn't
95% turnover with his first administration. He's looking at doing the same thing again. He is having a hell of a go at it. Every single economic metric is upside down, not just for us, but the whole world, all of our allies have basically said we can't trust the United States anymore. Trump has done nothing but try to enrich himself and cover up the Epstein files and just fuck up this economy.
And I'll say this. Let's talk briefly if we could visit the because of the foreign policies. Briefly, if we could visit the Israel-Palestine conflict. That was also Joe Biden standing up there constantly saying, hey, we stand with Israel. We stand with Israel.
He wasn't
Kamala
just
got up there. Hey, Kamala
blindly.
got up there and she said, hey, we will stand with Israel too. She got up and said the same thing.
We had to first,
And then-
like, this is a delicate thing, right? We got to have nuance when we talk about
Okay.
Joe Biden giving just all of the foreign aid to Israel. He said at one point, I believe it was May 2024 or March
And
2024.
bombs.
He said no,
He didn't
you
just
can't
give
have.
foreign aid.
He said you
he
can't
gave
have any
bombs
more
to them
bombs.
too, son.
And then he said no, you can't have any more bombs. Look what you're doing with them. You are fucking things up over there. You are being considered a terrorist by every country in the West. And there's multiple countries now that are looking at not even allowing Netanyahu or any Israel into their country. I think Denmark is added to that list now. They won't even let you, if you're Israel, they won't let you come into the country if you're Israeli. This is what Trump is backing 100%. He says there's a difference between Biden saying, hey, we're going to stop sending you bombs because you're just indiscriminately bombing people, which is what he did. And then we have Trump saying, we just need to let him finish it. We just need to let him get the hell over. I'm tired of it. And nobody is holding Netanyahu back and saying, hey, dude, these indiscriminate bombs on cities and communities where you're just killing civilians is not okay. Biden did. Biden was trying to send Palestinians aid. Trump is totally fine with the way they're treating Palestinians. They're over there raping them. They're over there. Israelis are just openly
Can,
sexually raping these people. And Trump's like, that's cool.
can you put any? Can you put anything on your screen about Biden stopping that he stopped sending Israel bombs? Because I don't remember that. And the last things that I remember of Biden and that Israel-Palestine conflict was, all I remember is him, hey, I stand with Israel. I stand for, even when the
Yeah.
media pressed him on it,
It's on the
hey,
screen.
we stand with Israel.
It's on the screen. So there's a lot of stuff that you
There
have
are
to
no,
fight
there
when
are
it
results
comes.
for bombing President Biden.
There's a
Ban
nuance
on
there, right?
military.
As a world leader, you have to
President
stand
Joe
next to your
Biden
allies.
never implemented a total ban on military or economic aid to Israel.
He stopped the
He
movement of
never
it was like,
implemented a total ban.
yeah, he gave them humanitarian aid and defensive weapons, but he stopped offensive weapons. All of the large bombs, 3,500 heavy payload bombs, prevented them.
Mm-hmm. But he still sent them financial aid, and he,
Yeah,
he
protect
no matter what,
himself.
he aided in this.
No, like,
He aided in this.
do you know what the Iron Dome is?
Yes, it's their defense.
Yeah, that's what he was aiding after that.
I mean, all right. If let's see. If I'm if I'm in a physical confrontation with somebody, and you're holding their arms while I'm punching them, you're aiding me. If you're putting them in a position where they can't defend themselves back against me, you're aiding me.
Listen, I think that somebody who was
Do you see what I mean?
enforcing some sort of nuanced position is way better than what Trump's doing. Trump has given him free reign to do whatever they want. He's even acting on their behalf and making the whole
Yeah.
world suffer.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that. And that's the thing. I don't agree with it, but I believe that they were all on the same page when it came to that. You see what I'm saying?
You have to really
and
blur the details to say that. That's not true.
on the what you just put on the screen, it just said that he never implemented.
Yes, he did. Starting May 2024, he stopped all offensive aid. All offensive aid. So he gave them the ability to defend themselves, but he wasn't saying here's more weapons to just kill innocent people. And if you're against that at all, you're definitely against Trump, right? Because Trump is just allowing them to bomb Lebanon. He's allowing them to Israel is literally they're a fascist country. They're whether you knew that or not, they're literally a fascist country.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page. I do not agree with how any of that is taking place, and I don't agree with the backing of them to carry out genocide. I don't agree with that. And I won't even joke around like I do. I agree 0% with what happened to Palestine, what's happening to Lebanon, or what's happening to Iran right now. I don't agree with any of that.
Do you know who Jared Kushner is?
I do.
Do you know his relationship to Bibi?
I know they have I know they have some ties.
It's
along
his godfather.
With yeah, okay, and Kushner is with one of Trump's daughters.
Yeah, it's his son-in-law.
Yeah, that's his son-in-law. Okay, so yeah, I know that there's a tie all in that. And like I said, we're lockstep. Me and you are lockstep on this particular subject right here. Hey, I do not agree with anything on how that is happening over there.
So us holding hands with them and the whole world looking at us as if we're also terrorists, that doesn't upset you?
I'm lockstep with you, brother. We brothers on this one. You know what I mean? But
what is worse than that? What is worse than that? You not knowing like the stuff that Joe Biden did to help the economy and to help like minority groups, give people protections, give people social safety nets. Those are all things Democrats always do. There's also, I encourage you to ask ChatGPT, out of the two parties, which party performs better for the economy? And it just so happens to be that even ChatGPT or whatever AI you choose, they will just straight up tell you that Democrats outperform the GOP like sevenfold in making jobs and creating economic opportunity and creating GDP increases. I think we like double the GDP growth that Republicans offer. They do nothing but come in and cut taxes and mess up the budget. We're in more debt than we've ever been, and we have fewer people with safety nets than ever before. This is make it make sense.
Sir, I agree with you, and I've always looked at the time in office, the time in office ratio, if for lack of better words.
You can just look at the last 80 years. Don't take this whole 17 out of 20 years or 12 out of 17 years. Don't listen to that propaganda.
I'm on your side. Hold on. I'm on your side again. What I'm saying is, this time I thought Republicans get 4 years. It takes Democrats 8 years to fix it. So we get 4 years of a Republican president, then we normally get 8 years of a Democrat president pulling it back towards the middle. We get 4 more years of a right wing yanking it hard to the right. We get 8 years of Democrats slowly pulling it back to the middle.
So
you see what I'm saying? We on the same side. We on the same side.
So you agree it's regressive when you vote in a Republican?
Yes, to a certain depending on what Republican. I'll tell you which Republican I would love to see as our president.
Who?
I would love to see Rand Paul.
I think
I would
it's
love
just
to
a
see Rand Paul
brainless.
on a ticket.
It is so dude. Are you libertarian? Is that what you're saying?
No, sir. What I'm saying is, Rand Paul takes care of business. During the 2020 BLM movement, when Nancy Pelosi and all of these Democratic leaders were, taking pictures with basketball players and taking knees and holding hands, doing all of this symbolic stuff, Rand Paul said, I'm not going to do the symbolic stuff. How about I go write legislation and I name it the Breonna Taylor bill?
What did that do?
It put a ban on no-knock warrants. That's what killed Breonna Taylor.
Okay, and then Trump re-implemented them with ICE with a 100-mile radius.
But sir, instead of us being, and I know that this is a podcast to debate, but we have to at least give him some props on that. He reached across the aisle. He didn't sit here and do all this symbolic stuff. He went and just did his job. How about I write legislation?
That's fine.
And then,
that's fine.
And then it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to watch him and his wife leave a restaurant and be surrounded by protesters, a protesting mob screaming, "Say her name, say her name." And him and his wife looked terrified. And I'm sitting at home thinking, you guys have the wrong Republican surrounded. He doesn't have to say her name. He wrote legislation and named it after her.
I promise you, if he came out with that today, he'd be voted out instantly. He would be shamed. Everything that has to do with in favor of the black community or any minority group for that matter is deeply shamed and voted out and primaried instantly. Have you seen the newest ads that they've made for recruiting people into ICE? They're literally quoting white supremacists. They're literally quoting white supremacist songs and posters.
Rand Paul is not on board with that.
I don't care.
You know what I mean?
He's sitting there enabling it all day.
He is not. Hey, sir. He's fighting against Trump as much as possible. He's fighting against him, but
he is
like,
alone.
And I get it, but think about this. Think about it though. Think about if you were in his shoes with his beliefs. You're a right winger. You don't agree with the things that Trump is saying and doing. You reached across the aisle several times on legislation. Yes, I'm going against, and he's publicly denounced a lot of things that Trump has done and has said. He's done it. And he's tight-roping like, hey man, I might get primaried. I might get voted out. Like, to me, standing on something. He's standing on something. And that, I said, hey, that's Ron Paul's son. Ron Paul is another guy that I said, hey, that's the best president we never had, which Rand's father.
Dude, both of them would be a huge detriment to this country. They would do nothing but cut more programs and make more minority groups in a worse situation. They would screw up this economy so bad.
Who, sir? Are you talking about Ron and Rand?
Yes.
Are you talking about the same Ron Paul that said we need to go back to a gold standard? We
Yes.
need to stop printing. We need to stop printing money. We need to go back to a gold standard.
Yes,
Either we have the gold or we don't.
That would be fucking dumb. That would be the worst thing ever.
The same Ron Paul that said if we continue to print money, we are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and eventually the system is going to crash, and we're going to find ourselves in a.
Let's think about this.
What do they call it?
Let's think about this long and hard. Why do we print money?
That part I don't quite understand, but I feel like every single time we print it, our dollar drops in value.
No shit, but like,
okay,
I'm just saying the reason we have to print money is because we're out of money. The people who make us run out of money, they're the GOP. I just put something on the screen, and this is a timeline of our debt, our budget compared to our GDP. In every Republican president,
talking to you.
Every single one
talking to you, man. I like talking. Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off. I like talking to you, man. You keep it respectful, and you doing your thing. Keep cooking, man.
All right. So every time a Republican has been in office, they fuck up the debt, and what happens is we come across hard times such as COVID or this new war. And since Trump and Reagan and Nixon and Eisenhower all fucking fuck up the debt, and they give all of our money back to rich people, we have to go print more. That's what causes inflation. If you don't want inflation, don't vote in the GOP. But having a fiat currency is huge. If we had a gold standard, again, there's not enough gold on Earth. If you look at Google how much gold is on Earth, and you can just do you can multiply that by what it's worth per ounce, and it still wouldn't even amount to our GDP. We would instantly be in a windfall of inflation. We would instantly be broke. We wouldn't have enough gold to divvy up per dollar.
Now, let's look at the other side of that. If we were to bring back a gold standard, wouldn't that, instead of everybody walking around, and I just have a picture in my head, instead of everybody walking around with these huge knots of dollar bills in their pocket like they're rich, that would bring us back to those dollars that you have in your pocket are really worth pennies. And let's face it, instead of covering it up. Let's face it. Let's go back to a gold standard and let's face where we are financially.
No, because there's no way we could even get all of the gold on Earth. So there's no way this would even work. And the second we hit a recession, we'd be stuck in the mud for 10s, 20s of years. That's why a fiat currency is so helpful. If we can print our way out of a recession, our economy can continue to grow other than being just stuck. That's why fiat currency is so good. That's why nobody on Earth has a gold currency standard. They all have fiat currency. This is a talking point for people who don't know the basics of economics. And if Rand Paul's one of those people, he is not eligible in my eyes to run a country.
Wow. And so then we would go back to man, I don't like how you did Rand Paul, man. Like I just don't like it. But hey, that's your opinion on it. I have my opinion.
It's the truth.
I respect your opinion on it.
Play with ChatGPT for a little bit. Play with ChatGPT. Why should we not go back to the gold standard? How is it impossible?
First of all, do you pay attention to Rand Paul at all, or no?
No, I think he's a fucking goof.
Do you know what state Rand Paul is out of?
No.
Okay. So
is it one of the broke states?
About Rand.
It's probably one of the broke states, right?
He's out of Kentucky.
Definitely the brokest state ever. 500,000 people in Kentucky, dude. They literally constantly rely on blue states to pay their bills every year. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Wow. That hurt. I'm sorry, man, but man, that hurt. And I like him because, like I said, I like him because when all of the Republicans, well, I won't say all, when the majority of the Republicans were against the BLM thing, and I told you what he did with the Breonna Taylor bill. I mean, he put his neck out there for the American people. He put his neck out there to get primaried. Hey, I'm going to write this bill. This bill might get me primaried, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because this is what needs to be done.
That kind of bill would be supported every time under Democrats.
Yeah, but he's not a Democrat, and he did it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Who's
not a
for tough on crime?
Pelosi didn't write it.
Which party is tough on crime? Which party is it?
I'm sorry?
Which party is tough on crime? What party do you think of?
Which is tough on crime?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Come on.
I don't know when Hillary. When I'm thinking back. I'm thinking back. Well, because I think about Bill Clinton and the super predators comments. I think about all that when we bring up. Huh?
That was Hillary.
Oh, I apologize. And then she just ran and got mollywopped. You know, against Trump.
She won the popular vote. I don't think she got mollywopped. She won by 6 million votes.
But we still didn't have a President Hillary Clinton. You see what I mean? You know, and
because of DEI for Republicans. That's the only reason they won.
She made super predator comments about young black men, and then she went to them for their vote.
I think
I believe that the Democrats were pretty tough on crime too.
Now, when we talk about tough on crime right now, we talk about Republicans. They talk about how liberals are weak on crime, and they always espouse how we let people loose after X amount of convictions, and how this one incident of someone killing somebody on a subway was a product of not tough on crime liberal cities and shit. This is simply rhetorical.
Isn't California a Democratic state?
Yep.
Okay, didn't California have the 3-strike rule? If you're 3 strikes and you're life in prison, didn't they have that law?
Yeah, but they also have things like Kamala introduced, which was basically the whole nation adopted this after she did it. But if you were a first-time offender, they gave you a pathway to have that expunged and to attend court multiple times a week and to get a job and be reintroduced into society. And this gave people a second chance. Republicans aren't for that type of policy. Republicans are the people who take huge donations. Like Trump himself took, I think there's 3 huge private prisons that have donated to him, and he just so happens to also be incarcerating fucking everybody. This is the opposite of this is antithetical to what you're going for. If you want people to have the freedoms and liberties that you think they deserve, you wouldn't be voting for Republicans. We have 25% of this entire world's incarcerated population, and Republicans would love to add to that.
Okay, let me give you a slight bit of background on my political views. And so I told you I do a lot of overtime. You know, well, I work. My job is, oh my gosh, 98% Trump, 98% MAGA. And that's why, and because of those people, that's why I said I could never be MAGA. I lean towards Republican, but I can't stand MAGA, man. I can't stand them. And so I would bring up these topics because there was a point in time at this last election, I wanted to vote for Kamala. Oh, I was all the way in Kamala. Kamala Harris. She's going to be our new president. By the end, and it was time to vote, I looked at her. I said, God damn it. How did you lose a vote? I said, you had me. How the heck did you lose a vote? You know, I'm talking to women at my job, and I'm like, hey, you see what Trump is planning on doing to the, oh my gosh, the abortion, the Roe versus Wade? Correct? I'm correct with that, Roe versus Wade?
Yeah, and
I say, you see what he's doing? That you know there was women there that did not care. Hey, Trump. And I went to bat for Kamala so damn much with these women because I'm like, do you guys hear what you're saying? And they're Trump. I said,
did you know that black women have a They have a higher mortality rate when giving birth to, like, twice as high as anyone else in this country. Trump contributed to that. We have Texas, who just struck down the ability for even collecting that data. Trump
Um,
also deleted the database nationwide for us to track that.
how,
Like,
now, how did he contribute to their? You said their mortality rate.
yes,
How did he contribute to it? I could see him hiding the numbers, but how did he
disallowing
contribute to it?
disallowing abortions,
You said allowing abortions,
disallowing, making it where 23
disallowing.
states have made it outlawed because of trigger laws. He knew were going to be put into place because he was given a whole list by the Heritage Foundation of pro-life activist Supreme Court judges that he put. We have a 6-3 court now in the Supreme Court, and they will do everything. They almost just took away mifepristone and the ability to
Okay.
mail that state to state.
Okay. So back to and I'm not dismissing what you said at all. I really I fully took that in what you just said. But going back to back to my job and me talking to these people, and then when the change came for me, because I told you I was on board with Kamala. I think I already told you that I voted for Joe the first time. You know, I'm on board with Kamala. I was on board with Kamala all the way up until the debate when she debated Donald Trump.
What
And
what did Trump say?
he said everything that he wanted to say. And that was my problem. I thought, and I really challenge you to do this, and I'm not being a jerk or anything like that. I really, really challenge you to go back and look at that debate with just even I'm gonna call it down the middle. Let me watch the debate. I'm gonna call it down the middle. If you go back and look at that debate, do you know I thought Trump won that debate until
That's
I went
wild.
online and everybody, yeah, that's what everybody was saying. That's wow. You thought Trump, and to me, it's like, how do you win a debate if it's an hour-long debate and you only spoke for 15 minutes and you let this guy? I guess your plan was, hey, I'm just gonna let him talk and we're gonna show the world how crazy he is.
Well,
Yeah, he said some crazy.
Kamala
He
talked
said
about her
some
actual
crazy.
policy. He didn't have any policy. He said he had concepts of a plan, which is true. 100% of the time, all 3 times Trump has run, he's had literally no policy for us to look at and be like, all right, this is a good idea, or all right, this is a bad idea. He has nothing. He has a
Okay,
16-page plan that reads like an 8th grader wrote it.
all right. Let me say, when I listened to Kamala, I didn't hear anything she was saying that was talking to me, that was talking about making my life better. Even when she talked about home ownership for, I can't remember the word she said, whether it was young families or new families. Do you know what you know what I'm speaking
Yeah,
about?
new flamos. Yeah, first-time
New
homeowners.
all right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what do you consider a new family? You see what I'm saying? This
So
is,
first
I didn't understand.
generation homeowners, so like people whose parents don't have a home or people who've never bought a home before. There's a lack of homes in America. We had a shortage. I think Freddie Mae and Sally Mae and Freddie Mac both said that we are about 3 million to 5 million homes short. And for us to come up with a
Mhm.
rule or a law that helped lessen that, and Trump, for instance, he I don't know if you remember what Obama did to stop or to reverse the ability for us to go through another '08 housing market crisis, but it was called the what was it called? Fuck. What was the law? He made revisions. What? Chat, help me out here. What law did Obama make to address the '08 housing crisis? Dodd-Frank, thank you. So the Dodd-Frank Act was something that eliminated like subprime lending, and it stopped major corporations from going out and buying all the goddamn homes. Trump's very
Okay.
first thing that he did when he got in office was made revisions to that because he's a real estate mogul. He wants to be able to go buy all those homes. He did that. He also did
Okay.
an executive order to reverse that. And that made a huge housing crisis. There was like 100% increase in the amount of like investor bought single family homes. And Trump
Yeah.
all day wants that. Kamala didn't.
But Okay, and you know, I still didn't quite because it's. I don't know if I missed it, but I was still trying to get like the definition of the new family that Kamala was speaking about. I'm sorry, it's not to be disrespectful or nothing, but I truly missed it. Like I, she was spoken that words, and I felt she wasn't talking to me. I said, "What is a new family? What is a new family?" Like, why? What is a new family? You see what I'm
You
saying?
get married, you have a
I didn't.
kid. That's a new family.
So you see, what's the difference between a new family and an old family? I guess I would say that.
All right,
I
somebody
mean,
with
do you
generational
understand?
wealth who's looking for their third home or a fucking extra home in Florida for vacation. We're not trying to make rich people more comfortable. We're trying to make people entering the housing market more comfortable. And she gave
Well,
refunds and tax incentives to builders and home buyers, or she would have.
okay, because when she said that, when she said new families, I still didn't understand. I'm like, what the heck is? So who's the new family? Do you understand where that could have been tricky because of her wordplay?
I don't know. I think Trump coming out and saying they're eating the cats and the dogs, and then 30 bomb threats being targeting black communities in
Yeah,
Springfield, Ohio,
yeah.
is way worse than
I
anything.
get. I get that, but I'm truly asking, I'm asking these questions genuinely. I'm not trying to get a gotcha moment. I'm really not. But I didn't understand when she said new family. I felt she wasn't talking to me.
I think it was a
When
lot
Trump
more
said
specific than concepts of a plan, dude. She had a 92
when
page
Trump
PDF.
said, sir, what I'm saying is, Kamala said she's gonna make housing affordable for new families. I said, I don't know who a new family is. I don't know what she's talking about. When Trump said, hey, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, I said, I know what that means, and he's talking to me because I put in overtime.
And Kamala was going to
You
do the
see what I
same
mean?
thing. But here's the trick: Trump conned y'all, and they'll do it again. They'll do it again.
Yeah.
Republicans will do it again. Ron Paul, his dad, they'll
Man,
do it
man,
again.
Lee ran alone. Now stop now. I said we on the same Lee ran alone.
I want to explain
But
to you this graph, by the way. So this was
huh?
before the election. We could look this up. This is an open book test. Every election, ITEP, the Institute for Taxation and Economic Policy, is something you should Google before every single election, even if it's the midterms that are coming up. Look at the tax proposals for the people they're proposing their plans to the public, and they will always do an
Yeah.
outline of the two. Trump, the yellow lines, is increasing taxes for the poorest, the second, middle, and fourth, everybody up to $360,000 in income. He's increasing taxes for all those families and decreasing it for everyone else. And there's another report you can read that Trump increased tax liability for 95% of Americans. He duped you. He's a con
Yeah.
man. He's
And
historically a con
and
man.
and and I agree with you. I said he passed it. Now he said no tax on overtime. He passed it. But what he passed, I said it wasn't what you told us. What you
Shocker.
did isn't you see what I mean? It wasn't now what you told us and what you did was two different things. You see what I'm saying?
And
It wasn't
Republicans
all
got
gift
behind
wrap with
him.
the bow on top.
Anybody that comes out, Thomas Massey, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, anybody that comes out against Trump now, they're gone. They are gone.
Yeah.
They get ousted. Israel will fund $30 million to get you primaried, to bury the Epstein
Hmm.
files. GOP is not a home of free thinking. They will not allow it. It is so tribalistic that if you come out against their dear leader, you're out.
Yeah, I mean he's beat 85 to 90% of the GOP. He's literally beat them into submission. Like I still have a big problem with Ted Cruz, and it went beyond politics with Ted Cruz. I mean, I had a problem with Ted Cruz as a man. As a man, no matter forget politics, because you're a man, I'm a man, sir. Forget our jobs, forget politics. If my boss was to come out and say something negative against my wife, oh, I can't work here no more, and I damn sure can't go to bat for you. Like, you know what I mean? I totally Trump beat these guys into submission. They all took the knee after he got done putting belt to, you know what I mean? He put the belt to those guys and beat them into submission. I couldn't believe that Ted Cruz would go on national television and praise this man that disrespected his wife.
What does that not tell you? How does that not tell you that they're bought and paid for? All of them.
But Rand Paul has never done that, man.
Rand Paul will never have the power he needs to do anything of this sort. No, you have to govern as a president. You have to be able to govern and have ideas that that Congress will agree with. That will say, hey, my constituents would be on top of that. They would love this. No, nobody can get anything done in Republican politics.
Do you know that Rand Paul and Crockett? I forgot who they were. They took turns grilling somebody on the same issue. That's what I mean about we need somebody that can reach across the aisle. And if we get Democratic leadership in the next election, which it seems like we might, but I mean there are people that are not. There are people that I won't say they're not stupid, but there are people that are concerned about having a left-wing Trump administration. And what I mean by that is Democrats come back into power, and this is all about revenge. It's not about the country. This is all about, sticking it to the right wing.
If we showed so much constraint during Biden's administration, if Biden wanted to, if y'all really believe Trump when he says that we had the files for 4 years, we didn't do anything for Epstein, then you have to believe that Biden had the opportunity to come out and smear Trump's character and do a character assassination. But that's not what happened. Every time Trump's been in trouble since 1973 for not renting housing to black people, by the way, he has used the Darvo method, and he's come out
the same,
and denied
and this is the same
and
gentleman.
Attacked
Now,
at every
now
step.
I don't back. Now, see, you got me defending Trump again. This is the same individual that opened up his casino to let Mike Tyson box when no other place would let him box. This is the same guy we're talking about.
I don't care. That's nothing.
This is the same guy. This is the same guy that before he was a president,
after his
he was
rape
cool
conviction
with all the black people. He was cool. He was cool with Oprah. He was cool. Matter of fact, before he ran, he was funding Democrats.
He was
funding Democrats. He didn't fund Democrats.
He did. Yeah, he did. And then he also said if he were to ever run for president,
now all of a sudden, but all of a sudden when he ran, he became racist.
Yes. Just because you tokenize someone like Mike Tyson doesn't mean you're not racist, man.
Okay. So one, he provided Mike Tyson a place to box and get money when nobody else did.
After his rape conviction.
After a conviction that. All right. Two, he funded Democrats.
Yeah, because we always do better for the economy.
So these Democrat people was cool with him until he ran against them, and then he became a racist. Or was he always racist, and they was just taking his money and like, okay, you can be racist as long as you fund me.
Yeah,
see, that's a double-edged sword.
You can't choose who gives you money, but you can definitely choose what you do with policy once you're in power.
You can't reject someone's money. I can't.
I don't know if you should go out of your way to just reject someone's money, unless right now I'm sure that no Democrat would accept money from Trump. But when Trump was doing problematic things, yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not racist, dude. Use your own brain.
No, and see where you see what I'm saying, but you see what I mean. You're saying that it's hard to reject somebody's money, but then in the same sentence you say today they were rejected.
Look
so
what
why
he's
is
doing
it easier
now.
to reject
he's
it?
Using...
My question is, how is it easier to reject it now, but we couldn't reject it back then? That's my question.
Because it wasn't as controversial back then. It wasn't as controversial.
He wasn't as controversial.
Yes. When he came out swinging, saying Obama was Kenyan, we still have people that will die on that hill. That Obama's fucking Kenyan. I saw a Facebook post yesterday that has caused so much racism. He breathed so much life back into racism in this country, and he's using literal white supremacist tactics to hire people into ICE.
It's crazy that you said that, because once again, I agree with that. I agree with your statement that you just said. Within the first week of Donald Trump's first term, it's a crazy little story, and I'll keep it very short. I was walking to a store. I was just out strolling. The store is right up the street from me. I'm walking to a store. A guy rides by in a pickup truck and yells out his window the N-word at me, and I'm like, I was stunned. I stopped. I haven't been called the N-word since elementary school. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and back in the 80s and 90s, like, I was one of 2 black kids in this whole school system. You know what I mean? So,
how is not every Republican that knows what Trump is doing disowning him right now? How are they not doing it? Listen to I want to give you a few examples. Trump put an ad out that says, quote, "We'll have our home again." And this was something to recruit either people into ICE or people into the military. He is doing dog whistles in the open to get people who are proudly white supremacist into ICE. What do you think his plans are for ICE to be that radicalized? What do you think his plans are?
That's why I could not vote for him. I couldn't vote for Kamala because I didn't necessarily understand her policies, and I felt like it was poorly put together at the last second. And
she had 100 days, man. She had 100 days.
Then I think she didn't spend. I mean, from looking at the map, I don't know if you could bring one of those on the screen of the last election. If you could bring up a map, it's a lot of people that felt like she didn't use that 100 days wisely, I guess, because she got mollywopped.
Trump ran for 4 whole years.
Might not have got mollywopped, but
is anybody running for president right now? No, not a single person.
No,
Trump had started his presidential candidacy 4 years before the presidency. 4 fucking years. He had 4 years, and he won by 1.7%. I don't think I need to look around and take the temperature of the country to know whether or not who to vote for. I can just look at his record.
Mm-hmm.
In Which Way, American Man? Multiple posts using this phrase, which closely mirrors the title of Which Way, Western Man, a 1978 book written by a known white supremacist and Hitler supporter. One homeland, one people, one heritage. Video campaigns have used slogans and imagery that experts from the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League describe as coded language intended to signal to white nationalist group. You're sitting here, if Rand Paul is not coming out screaming from the hilltops that this is what's going on, he is complicit. America for Americans. Recruitment materials included the slogan, which is historicalized to the Ku Klux Klan. America for Americans. American Progress. The administration posted 1872 painting depicting white settlers advancing westward while Native Americans flee, captioned, "A heritage to be proud of, a homeland worth defending." Yeah. He's coming out doing real dog whistles. And the tiebreaker was Kamala not describing what a new family is well enough to some people. I just think she had a 92-page PDF you could read. If you were confused, you could read it. But it's too hard to get past what Trump's insane rhetoric was during this time. And I think that speaks for itself. Like, nobody cares. If Kamala would have had the perfect policy, if she had the best gold policy that anybody could ever come up with, it was the best in the world, nobody would have cared because it's not sexy. It doesn't sound as crazy. It doesn't make it to your social media before they're eating the cats and the dogs. That's what took over social media.
Do you believe that Kamala lost because of misogyny?
Yes.
Okay. Because that I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with Barack Obama pulling black men into a room and putting on his black, hey, and me quoting him here, but hey, I hear the brothers are not feeling Kamala Harris. First of all, don't talk to us like that. Talk to us the way that you would talk to anybody else. You wouldn't go in a room full of white men and say, y'all, the brothers not feeling. You wouldn't talk to them like that. You talk to us the same way you would talk to anybody else. He ticked me off when he did that. And then he made it about misogyny. I am far from misogynistic, far from it. And to use that as a scapegoat to why people didn't vote for her, I wish I was in that room, because that's why I would have asked him, well, sir, what took you so long to endorse Kamala? What took you so long?
Well, I don't know why you
very
need
last second.
like in the same breath you're saying you don't need somebody black to appeal to you for your black vote. Then
No,
then
I don't
stand
need
by
you to.
that.
I don't need you to come in a room and speak to us in a certain tone. I need you to talk to us just like we were any other. Don't come in here like I'm gonna talk slang to y'all. No, come in here and talk the same way you would talk to anybody else. What made you feel that you had to talk slang to
Well,
a
now
room full
Trump
of
is
black
talking
men?
slang to his white supremacist friends.
Yeah, yeah, but you see
And
what I'm
Trump
saying?
came
And
out
this
and sold
isn't.
shoes. He came out and sold shoes, says, black people love me because I'm wrongfully convicted.
I see. Yeah, and and in part, I hate to freaking say it, but there's probably a small percentage of black people that did like him, for if you break down what he said right there, because he was wrongfully convicted. There's been so many black people that were wrongfully convicted. I'm not saying Trump was wrongfully convicted,
I
but
constantly have to sit
to
up
tap
here and
those.
coach people through how we do still have systemic racism here in the United States. I have to coach people through the stats and the undeniable truth that black people are 50% of exonerations. So, yes, while that's true, the Republican Party will still stand 10 toes down on tough on crime policy, which black people are the victim of.
Yeah, and that's
Overwhelmingly.
true. That's true. But I mean, these things have gone back to the Clintons also. Like, we cannot, like, please, I just want you to call out both sides, because that's what I intend to do. You know, you can't say, hey, it's okay for this to happen, but we're not going to talk about that. Or we're not going to talk about Biden's old record of when he used to speak about black people and them going to school with his children,
That
the
is
things that
that
he
is out
said
of
in the
quote.
past.
That is out of context, by the way, and I can explain to you the context of that. And it's so
Please
sad.
do.
Yeah. So Biden during desegregation, because he's that fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
When we
Yep.
were going through this, he was against the terms of using busing to do desegregation. So if you were to take like a predominantly black neighborhood and bus them into a white neighborhood to a white school to go to school and force desegregation, that's what he
Yeah.
that's what he was not for. And he had this conversation with Kamala on stage during their debate. But he was always on the right side of history. He was for desegregation. And he's called out his colleagues and called them out for using harmful language and harmful
He used harmful
policy.
language back then. Do you remember the language that he used
Are you talking about him saying the
back
N-word?
then? Yeah.
That's when he was quoting one of his Republican colleagues for saying it.
It wasn't just that, man. It was. I mean,
That's
there
exactly
were
what
some
that's
other
from.
things, I can't pull. I'm quite sure, because you're sitting in front of a computer. Now. You might not want to pull it up because it don't fit the narrative, but I'm quite sure you can pull it up and you'll be like, okay, I see what you're
I've
saying.
debated this for 2 years now, and this is the verdict. I've pulled this up too many times.
Hey, my man, your live is the shit. I just tell you that, man. And this conversation is dope, man. This is a nice conversation.
So in the 1985 Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, Joe Biden repeatedly uttered the N-word while quoting a racist remark made by white Louisiana state legislator to expose the discriminatory nature of a congressional redistricting plan.
What year did you say?
1985.
No, I'm talking before the 80s, sir.
I would
I'm
have
definitely talking before the 80s.
I'd have to know what you're talking about, because I'm not pulling up anything else where he's used that word.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look now. It seems like I have a second to. These.
Chat, don't forget to follow the stream if you enjoy these debates.
He fought against federally mandated busing.
Yeah, and this is what I was explaining earlier. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was for desegregation,
still,
but he just had arguments about how to do it.
I know, I would probably be a little bit better prepared if we ever have this conversation again. But I know I heard it with my own ears, some stuff, and I believe it was back from maybe the late '60s. And I heard Biden, and I think he said something about animals. I think he said something about animals going to school with his children.
I think he's talking about racial
jungle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go. I mean, come on, man.
I don't think that's the best choice of words. I'll be honest with you. But also, we got to talk about
sir, you can do it. You can do a little bit better than that. Come on now. You've been keeping it real so far. Come on now.
I know. And you got to accept that back then we weren't as sensitive as we are now to tying types of words and like phrases to racism.
Back then he didn't know that one day he would need black votes.
I don't think so. He was for desegregation. He was on the right side of history every single time. I can't say that for Trump.
But what was the? Do you have the whole racial jungle comment?
That was in the same context as the busing thing. He didn't want to send his kids to a place where it's just extreme racism, where a school full of just white people seeing someone like Ruby Bridges walk in by herself.
Yeah. Somebody like Tyrone, myself. And I hate to say it, but I'm talking about, like I said, in the early '80s, all the way through the mid '90s. I went to an all-white school. I seen it. I seen it with I lived it. I lived the hangman stickers on your locker. I lived them putting them hanging teddy bears outside of your locker and stuff like. I lived that. So
do you think that America, led by someone like Trump with these types of dog whistles, is enabling that though a lot more than Biden's distasteful comments in the 60s and 80s? Trump was caught not renting to black people. They put the letter C on the top of their applications to signify, and this is a horrible thing to say, but colored.
Yeah, and that's really not a horrible, that I get that I get the different names that the different titles that black people have went through. Don't feel any kind of way saying colored. I know what you're talking about. I know you don't mean that like that. You understand?
Yep.
Don't feel any way about speaking the truth. At one point in time, black people were called colored people.
Sure.
We've been titled Negroes, we've been titled colored, we've been called blacks, Black Americans, African Americans. Hell, I don't know. hell, I don't know what the hell we're called nowadays. You know what I mean? It changes every few years. You know, I see the racist people coming to Trump's side. That's why, again, I told you I couldn't vote for him, but I couldn't vote for Kamala. I just couldn't bring myself to vote for her, but I couldn't vote for Trump. So I sat the election out. Once she lost my vote, I sat the election out. You know what I mean? And I just kind of threw my hands up at it. And when he said, "Hey, no tax on overtime," I raised my head up. I said, "What'd you say?" And so you know what I mean? And I didn't hear her saying that. And like I said, I didn't feel any of her policies were going to help me. And I wish if she had policies that would have helped me have a better life, I wish she could have explained them more. I wish she would have had more airtime. I wish they would have given, you know what I'm saying? I wish she would have fought more for more airtime or whatever needed to have happened. I just didn't understand why his voice was so loud and hers wasn't. You know, and we can't blame the voters for his voice being way louder than hers. We can't blame the voters. We have to blame the people that ran the election.
I want to say
you
that
see what I'm saying?
you need to be, and I feel like this applies to everyone who voted for Trump, you need to be able to cut through the noise. And Trump is very good at being loud and obnoxious and saying things like Kamala's not black, or shithole countries, or people are poisoning the blood of the country, and people have bad genetics, or people are vermin, or people there's an enemy inside, or the enemy within. And now we have Trump. Now we have Trump. And I just urge you, next time you have an election, look at the actual policy page. Stop worrying about how much they make you laugh or how loud they are. I feel like Spencer Pratt is employing the same thing right now.
I'm not attracted to the WWE. You know what I mean? And that's what I call the politics now. But I'll say this. I believe, and I think that you will probably agree with me here, that Trump has changed the way that we do politics in this country forever. And it's the loud, obnoxious thing that Trump does. We're going to see it from the Democratic side.
I think that's just inherently fascist. I think what Trump does is inherently fascist. I don't think we'll be seeing that from Democrats anytime soon. To say things where we see families split apart because of how controversial what he says is. I don't think Democrats want to employ that. I think that we should absolutely hold him accountable for the things he's done, but it's seemingly more and more impossible every day. The way he's gotten consolidated power and he's like pretty much created the ability to just enrich himself with absolutely no oversight. We have the gutting of the Voting Rights Act, and this is another thing that I want.
In my opinion, and we can get into the gerrymandering. I knew we were going to eventually head there, but in my opinion, I don't need the Democrats to call Trump out. I need the Republicans to call Trump out, and I need the Democrats to call their own out. We need to start looking into we need to clean out our own backyards, both parties. You see what I'm saying? Both parties need to clean their own backyard before attacking the other people. We could okay, as like you said, you would have voted for, or you did vote for Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, instead of you saying, "Hey man, Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump did this," you can say, "Hey Kamala, you didn't do this. Why didn't you go about it this way? Why didn't you go about it this way?" There was something better or different that you could have done that you failed to do.
I don't think there's anything.
Why we're here.
I don't think there was literally nothing that she could have done to be louder than Trump.
If there's nothing that she could have did, then dang on it, I don't want her as the next president either.
I don't think anybody, nobody can be louder than Trump. The way Trump is, he's willing to reach lower, like the bar is in hell with Trump. And I think his voters like it. And I think that type of like antagonizing rhetoric, fascist rhetoric, literally fascist rhetoric, is something that I will never want to be a part of. I will never vote for a candidate who comes down and attacks someone's character or their blackness. I think that's disgusting. I think that we should condemn that. I think that your party needs to learn how to condemn that. I don't think I need to do
I'm not
that
a
for my
Republican,
party.
sir.
Well, with a right
Sir,
needs
I'm
to
not a
condemn it.
Republican. Yeah, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I told you I voted for Joe. You know what I mean? I'm an independent voter that used to lean left wing until one night I was sitting up and it just hit me like a ton of bricks out of nowhere. I said, one night I'm sitting here and like I said, I'm independent, but I was voting Democrat. And I said, wait a minute, man. It seemed like they've been promising the same things over and over and over and over, and they've never delivered on it. They get our vote, and then they don't talk to us again until next election. You know, and then something else that hit me even after Trump won the election, the talking point of, hey, Biden, maybe you should step down and let Kamala be the president for the last couple of weeks. Maybe do you remember when that was going around?
I think that this is solely like messaging from Trump, where you think that Biden wasn't capable of being president. I still maintain that Biden
No.
was.
When his own party was asking him to step down and let Kamala take over, just so she could, I guess, make history or whatever as the first.
I think it probably would have done damage.
Do you not you don't recall
damage.
this? Do you recall that?
I think this would have done more damage than good. I think that
Yeah.
making it look like Biden was
I'm so
incapable to finish his presidency would have made it look even worse, and would have played into like the whole rhetoric
and
of
to
Trump
me,
saying that Biden was hiding his.
I think worse than that, sir. Worse than that. Forget how it makes the politicians look. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, all of these people, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, George Bush, all these guys are very wealthy. They don't need a dollar. They won't need a dollar, and their families are set for a long time. So forget how this makes them look.
Well, and
What
talking in
about
regards
the
to
voters?
candidacy, right?
Yeah,
Like the
no,
voters
no,
need.
sir. I'm talking about the voters, sir, and that's what ticked me off a little bit with the Democratic Party. I said, wait, the voters told y'all unanimously, no Kamala. It was unanimous. No, we don't want her. So y'all gonna say, okay, so y'all voted to not have her, therefore we have Trump. Okay, well, how about Joe? How about you step down and you let Kamala take over the presidency? Blah blah blah. No, stop trying to shove something down the voters' throat, and stop trying to force something on the voters when the voters tell you no. And that's another problem with the Democrats. It seems like they make policies and they make rules and they tell you to follow them instead of actually listening to their voters.
I don't
Do
think that.
you see what I'm saying?
I don't. Even if they did do something that was for the voters, I don't think you would have heard of it.
I was. Did you not hear me when I said that I was Team Kamala? I was, hey, man, President Harris. Hey, President Harris, let's go, President Harris. All the way up until that damn, excuse my language, all the way up until that debate.
I think, dude, Trump lied 30 times in that debate. He lied 30 times in the course of 15 minutes. That's all that would have took for me to be like, okay, well, that's a deal breaker for me. He lied about every single policy on his way in, and we can see
quiet,
it now.
And in my opinion, what made her lose the debate in my eyes, which I see that a lot of other people, there was even Trump supporters that say, yeah, he should not debate her again. There was Trump supporters that said she won that debate. In my eyes, the reason I said he won it is because she let him just sit here and talk. I'm just going to sit here and let him talk, and you guys can see how all right, well, while you're letting him talk, he's saying some crazy stuff, but he's saying crazy stuff / saying his policies and some things that he's getting his point across, and you're just sitting there.
I don't think he got his point across. I disagree with you on that. He did not get his point across.
If you would please,
I still was completely clueless as to what he wanted to do.
If you have time after the live, or you said you have a flight that you have to take, you can't watch it. If you're waiting on your flight, just bring up the debate, and then you'll be like, oh, I do see what that caller was talking about. She did just sit there and just let him just ramble instead of attacking and pushing your point. You see, he is.
I think she showed restraint. I think she showed what a calm
Too much restraint.
leader with a heavy with a steady hand looks like, and that's not Trump.
What is that other word? What is that other word, sir? What is that other word? Not restraint.
Belligerency. I don't know.
No.
Initiative.
She was. I just hold on. She was. No, what is that word I'm looking for? Complicit? Is it complicit that I'm looking? What I'm trying to say is she sat there. You didn't fight. You didn't fight, Kamala. You didn't fight. And then we complain about the outcome when our candidate went up and did not fight. I mean, you have to. I mean, come on, sir. You had to call it down the middle. You could at least say, okay. You could at least say, hey, she could have fought a little bit harder.
I think that she showed decorum, and I don't think Trump has any of that. I think he's classless. I think that the people that like that have brought us here. The people that liked how Trump called Ted Cruz's wife a dog or said that Obama was Kenyan, they liked that. And I don't think that I want my party to partake in any of that.
But yet we are, because I mean, yet the party is going to, because I believe that Trump has changed the way that we do politics.
I think that's true, but in a way you don't know. I think that that's so true when we look at the Voting Rights Act, when we look at how Trump has fired all of the people in the government that were bipartisan. He has completely done a purity test up and down with the Schedule F employees. He has nobody holding him accountable. He is going to perpetuate.
Do you remember John McCain when he was running against Obama? And I believe he was on a talk show, and they were giving John McCain their platform.
Yeah, and he defended Obama?
Yes. Those days are gone, and that was golden. And I said, hey, I was going for Obama in that, but when he said that, it made me give him. I mean, I had so much respect for that man when he stood there, and I can quote him. That lady said, I believe that Obama, she stuttered a little bit, and then she said, he's an Arab. And McCain's exact words were, no, ma'am, he's not. He's an American that loves this country. We just have different ideas on how this country should be ran.
I think that's still present. We still have that. The right does not have that. The right does not have any ounce of that. They know that their tactics to win is fighting dirty and lying constantly. Trump he has shown this method called flood the zone, where no matter what, he shotguns lies up into the air and shotguns controversial things into the media. And the second we finish diffusing and debunking his lies, he's got 1,000 more lies out there for us to diffuse. And we have so much, we're just tired, and we just start to get overwhelmed, where we don't know who to trust anymore. We don't know who to trust, and people just throw up their arms and say, well, I'm just going to trust whoever's in power now.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to ask you a question, because I believe you're more versed in politics than I am. Do you remember the last time that the Democrats had the presidency, House, and the Senate?
During Biden?
So
they
had the presidency. They had all three during Biden.
Yeah, not the Supreme Court. Are you talking about the 46 days during Obama when he passed a flood of legislation?
No, sir. That wasn't a got you question. It was a genuine question, because someone. Okay, let me say this. I debated somebody else on their live, and I was talking to them about the Democrats failing to deliver for their voters, and they got that's why I keep commending you on the way that you conduct yourself. They got all irate, started cussing up a storm, cussed me out up and down, told me I'm effing this and effing that, and said, when have we ever had a Democratic presidency, House and Senate? When have we had that? When have we had that? And I didn't know the answer. Like I said, I work a 9 to 5. I didn't know that.
We had a very
So what you
razor
telling me
thin
that?
margin during Biden, and he passed more legislation than any president in the last 30 years. And Kamala was a tie-breaking vote for a lot of that. She had more
Well,
tie-breaking votes than anyone in
they use
history.
that. They use that. The previous live that I debated, they used the fact, they said that when's the last time that we've had, all three branches of government to be able to pass reparations? When have we had that? We haven't had that.
Something
And so
that
when you
big.
say that during the Biden administration, so they could have done it. Once again, I think that it's going to happen again. I think during this next the presidential election, not the local elections going on here in November. I think that the next presidential election, they're going to bring that up again. Reparations. They're going to dangle that carrot again. And I want black voters to stop falling for that. Stop. If that's what you're voting for, stop falling for that. If you're going to vote Democratic, vote for another reason other than that, because they've been in a position to deliver that for you. They've had all three branches,
We would
and they
need a
did not
60 vote.
deliver it.
We would need a 60 vote threshold. So again, that's an impossible thing, and I don't think that was anybody's main platform, right? Like, I think that you could talk about things that are a little more pragmatic than reparations, but in order to pass something with like a 60 vote threshold, we haven't had that in a long time. And there was like a 40-day time period when Obama had the majority because somebody like was ousted out of Congress or died or something, I forget. He threw a flood of legislation out, but we still didn't have enough votes for reparations. And again, look at what Trump has spent. Trump has spent out of all of our debt.
I'm not saying that, sir. Sir, I'm not, just so you know, I'm not saying it because I want reparations. That's not I can give a hoot myself, but I know that there's people out there that are hurting and that it would help them.
Sure,
you see what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I don't want you to, I don't want you to be like, oh, he keep going back to this reparations thing, blah, blah. No, it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a hoot because I've already come to grasp with we ain't never going to get it. It don't matter how, and what
we're further away now than we've ever been.
It's not the Republicans' fault. It's not the Republicans' fault.
Let's look at
the Democrats.
Look at the budget. Look at the budget again. We look at what Trump has spent from this country's budget. He is responsible for 25% of this nation's debt. 25, just himself. And if we had that, even if we just didn't do mass deportation is going to add $370 billion to the deficit, not the debt, the fucking deficit. We could have literally paid for every single person to be who's unhoused to have a home, to have money, to have food, to have a job. Everybody would get higher education. $370 billion fucking goddamn dollars. That would have done reparations easily. But Trump has spent that. That's all gone. We've got to walk uphill for 70 miles now through the mud to even get to a point where we can even propose that.
So knowing that those funds are there, or that those funds were there, I mean, like I said, we had 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Biden, 8 years of Clinton.
Both times we were walking uphill through a recession that Republicans created.
And so it once again, and I have to break out my Obama voice. I have to break out my Obama voice. To the people, we hear you, but we can't reach you. We're so tired and everything is complicated. But we watching this guy, and when I brought up the J6ers to someone else, they said, well, he did a lot of illegal stuff and this, and that. Okay, he did illegal stuff and this, but he got it done. I said, when are the Democrats going to stick their neck out for their voters? He's sticking his neck out for his supporters. When are we going to stick our neck out? No,
dude,
I'm not going to do anything like that.
The thing that opened the door for that was Trump committing fraud in the first place. Trump was the first president since we've started releasing tax returns for the president to not release his tax returns, and somebody leaked them, and that was his in to go and sue the government to do this.
Let me, and this might be this might not be the brightest comment, but I gotta say it, man, and I don't mean anything, anything bad by it, but couldn't one of our presidents, couldn't you have bent some rules and cut some corners and done something to deliver that for the people and then pardoned yourself on your way out the door?
We would never win an election afterwards. Like, I think that this type of corruption,
but sir,
I think
yes
would do
no,
harm to the social fabric of this country. We would start.
I hear what you're saying, but yes or no, sir?
Could people break the law? Yes. Could people break the law? Yes. Could someone do something inherently corrupt?
And then pardon themselves on the way out the door.
But the reason Obama was such a great president,
and let history and let the future speak for who you were.
I think that would do damage to the whole party, the whole movement that was, as a whole, looking out for minority groups would have been cut at the legs.
And why do you say that?
Because we would instantly be labeled corrupt. And when we talk about
labeled corrupt, he labeled corrupt, and his party, I hate to say it, even though his party's thriving, they're thriving under his administration.
His white supremacist party is thriving. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we've got now.
We'll go under it. So what the heck stopped the Democrats from doing it? Because I'm worried about self. I'm not worried about my voters. I'm worried about self.
Well, that's not good. I think the people that were like...
No. That's what I'm saying about the party. I'm saying it seemed like the Democratic Party is, I'm worried about the Democratic leadership is, I'm worried about myself. I'm not worried about
It is scary watching only one party care to play by the rules. It is scary. I don't think that we need to start breaking the rules, because eye for an eye, we're all going to be blind. We're all going to be blind. We all do eye for an eye shit. This country's just going to fall apart. And that's what Obama understood.
There.
Obama understood this at such a higher level than anyone else. When Obama was given the chance to do things like write an executive order to stop the mass deportation that everybody was enraged about, he said, no, let's do this the right way. Let's do this through Congress.
Do you know how Obama lost the military under his watch?
How?
Are you familiar with that? Did you, first of all, did you even know that he lost the military under his watch?
I think he said something about what did he say? I forgot what he said.
Okay, I don't there was a specific sentence that he repeated over and over and over again when he talked about our military and our military's actions. He used to say, with great strength comes great restraint. Do you remember when he used to always say that?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about our military, and he was talking about how our military did their job. Okay, you sent these guys over there to fight a war. You sent these guys thousands of miles away from home to fight a war. And while they're out there, bullets going over their head, you're sitting in the White House playing politics and say, hey, man, they killed too many people. They killed some civilians over there. We're going to court-martial these people. Wait a minute. Then if that's how you're going to play it, you should have kept our damn troops at home. You should have kept our troops at home. When people go into the Marine Corps, they're in the Marine Corps for one reason and one reason only: to kill. Everything, like, I don't know if you're into the military or anything like that, like if you follow military stuff, the Marines, they don't mince their words. They say kill. We kill. They're one of their sayings, one shot, one kill.
My brother's a Marine.
You tried to court-martial our boys? You tried to court-martial our boys?
I think
you tried to have our boys.
Would you rather us be like a
I
terrorist
had
state like
somebody,
Israel drops all sorts of
sir.
investigations and all sorts of things where they are found to have like literally raped children. I don't want to become that country.
Yeah, no. I don't know. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not for no raping or none of that stuff.
That's what that
But
turns
I
into.
am for, sir. But I am talking about when you have people in a war zone and there's bullets flying at them, and we gotta play by what kind of rules? Okay. So you're saying that we can see our enemy, we can hear our enemy over there chanting. We cannot attack them until they send shots at us. Marines died.
That's okay.
Marines came home. Marines came home in caskets because of what he did.
Listen, the reason that's so important is because we can radicalize people against us. So if we go over there and we do all sorts of civilian deaths like Israel is really good at, they've created dozens of anti-Israel combatant groups, literal terrorist
Yeah,
groups. And they can justify
sir.
that, and we would lose our place on the world stage as the world police, as the leader of the free world, because none of our allies would be okay with us doing this type of stuff. We would not. Every
Sir,
country would partake in the same way.
I have a close friend, a very close friend of mine that just retired from the military, over 20 something years of service. And during his retirement ceremony, he made a speech, and he told the younger guys that are coming up and that are going to do what he had to do. He said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "I have faith in this administration that when the war comes to us, this administration won't tie your hands behind your back. They will let you go do your job." See, our military don't play games. They're not. It's not a dog and pony show. You know what I mean? If you call on our boys to go to war, our boys are going to war.
I don't want to be
If
seen as barbarians on the world stage. I think it's okay. I don't really care about how radicalized
I
people
do
end
care
up
because
being in the military. I don't
these
really
are
care for
people
that.
that sacrifice they sacrifice their
For
lives
what?
while the rest of us are
For what? To find weapons
for
of
this
mass
country.
destruction?
Yeah. Now, see, I totally I do not agree with why they're there. You know, and you got to understand that there are some people in the military that didn't agree with why they were there, but we're here. You know, our thoughts of, hey man, you know, maybe they don't got no mass destruction. Okay, do that stop the enemy bullets from coming at us? No, we still have to deal with the fact we're here
Yeah, I don't
and we
care.
want to go back home.
I don't care, dude. I
I do
I
care
know.
about our military.
My
I
own
do care
brother
about
went
them.
into the military, and he had the same exact thing.
Yes, sir.
When he saw that journalist got his head sawed off by ISIS, he wanted to go
Yeah.
kill some people. I'm
Yeah.
so glad he wasn't able to just go kill random people. I don't know if he did or not. I'm stoked
Yeah.
that he didn't.
I don't
And he'd
think
have
I
to
don't
live
think
with the
that
consequences of that.
I don't think that it was the fact that they're killing random people. I think that it's like somebody said, I will never ever, you know, they lost somebody. And he said from that moment on, I will never put property property value over the value of human life. Meaning, my people are coming home. If we got to blow up somebody's house, then we have to blow up that house, man. I'm not going to say, hey, we're not going to blow this house up because of somebody else's property value and their pictures in there and our boy come home in a casket. You see,
I think that
and I don't want to dig too deep on that, but I was just telling you how he lost the military. He lost a lot of the military, and still to today, if you talk to anybody, and I challenge you to do that because you have the platform, and you say, hey man, I do want to know because I was talking to somebody, anybody in the military? Hey, did you guys? They'll tell you, yeah. There's so many of the military say F Obama out of their mouth. They hated and despised that man because they watched people die. under
I'm
the
okay
way
with that.
that
I am happy that Obama at least showed that restraint, and I don't think that's going to be the dynamic of how we see war for the foreseeable future. I think that most of our war is going to be done with drones, with missiles, with long range um, stuff. I think that this whole like attitude that Pete Hegseth is trying to instill into our
and I
army is
don't.
dangerous. I think that we're going to be as
Yeah,
just as radical as the people we claim to hate, and we are not instilling
yeah.
any sort of peace in the world stage when we employ that type of
He's
like
in my in
radical
my
like killing
in
with
my
no
opinion,
prejudice.
in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, sir. And I I got a little passionate about that because I do get a little passionate about that. But in my opinion, peacefulness and all that,
At Pacific
that's
Waves
for the
super chatted
negotiation. That's for the
$50.
talk
Kick.
before we
On
put boots
behalf
on the
of
ground.
those who Trump
When
thinks
we
are
put boots on
suckers
the
and
ground, the
losers.
talking is over.
Hey man,
I
someone
mean, it's easy for me and you to sit here, and have this conversation under the safety of, where we are.
hey
But when we put boots on the ground, the peace is over. The talking is over.
Hey man, someone paid to kick you. You're welcome to call back again. All right, you got to call back like sometime tomorrow or sometime after that. All right, I appreciate you calling. I hope you
Hey
have a
man,
nice night. All right,
hey, you too, sir. Hey, I commend you again, man. I appreciate the live. It was respectful.
appreciate it, man. Take it easy. W's in the chat for that super chatter. Hold on, I want to bring up who that was again. Pacific Waves with $50. Kick on behalf of those who thinks Trump's who Trump thinks are suckers and losers. I truly do believe that that's what Trump thinks about our soldiers. I don't think he gives a flying fuck about our soldiers. I think that you can say the right things to radicalize these people to be even bigger, more prejudicial killing machines. But I don't think that's the America that we want to live in. I don't want our American soldiers to be like the IDF. I don't want that. I don't want our citizens to think like that. I don't want anybody to be for that kind of like indiscriminate killing or bloodshed. If you join the military to kill people, I think there's already something inherently wrong with you that nothing can fix. You think you want to kill somebody until you do it. Then you're under a bridge. Then you're one of those people who are PTSD, who need counseling for the rest of their lives, who might be too tough to even accept help. Anyways, also big shout out to Amy, who also paid $50 for being a badass man. Thank you so much, Amy. W Amy's in chat, and W Pacific Waves in the chat, especially those on YouTube. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Let's go to the next guest. Hello, is this a Trump supporter?
Hello?
Hello, is this a Trump supporter?
Yes, it is.
All right, what do you like about Trump?
I think I'm going to defend the whole Iran war because I actually have friends. I played in a chess server for a while and actually made friends with people from Iran. And I think people just do not understand like the people he's dealing with in that whole Iran conflict. That it's not just like the government of Iran is not even close to representing the people of Iran. They're just
I agree
straight,
with you there.
yeah, they're just straight up like basically like a death cult from what my friends were saying.
I
And
don't agree with you
so,
there. So
okay,
Iran is not necessarily like a theocratic government. They are pretty radical in terms of religion, generally in Iran, but they're more of like a military, like autocrat country. So if you step out of line, you get killed. Not necessarily in the name of religion. Even the leaders of those people who are in positions in the government in Iran, some of their wives and their children are like here in the United States, and they're dressing just like Americans. They are not, by any means, doing what you imagine an Iranian woman doing on Iranian soil. But if you didn't know, the reason they're like that is because of us.
I would disagree with that.
Do you know what happened in 1953 in Iran?
Oh yes, absolutely I do. I had family members who like they were in the military during that period of time who kind of like, were very, very afraid that like that was going to become a problem and that they were going to have to go into like Iran.
Wait, what do you think happened?
Basically what happened was, okay, there was the Shah of Iran who was a pretty, I mean, I think by all means was a dictator. He was really not a great guy.
Who put him in?
Okay. Yes, the United States through like their intelligence services did back the Shah. 100%,
We pretty much
we did
installed
back
him.
the Shah.
Yeah.
Right. But I argue though that we didn't create the climate. Like we knew he was a bad dude at the time, and we were still at the time saying, okay, this guy needs to like calm down. He needs to chill out and stuff. But it wasn't like we were telling the Iranians, oh, no, like the Shah's a great dude and you should just be forced to keep him and we're going to militarily back the Shah. We never said, like, if you depose the Shah, we're coming in, because we didn't do that. We didn't go in when, like, the Iranian Revolution happened. We did not go in and say, okay, no, we're for the Shah. We're going to start going in guns blazing. We could have done that, and we didn't. We acknowledged that the Shah was
It doesn't make it better. Like what happened was, and this happens every time we do a coup on a government, but it fails big time. You imagine you're in the United States, right?
Yep.
So you imagine Russia coming in and installing like a Russian-backed leader, even if it wasn't a dictator, just a Russian-backed leader. Could you imagine? Would you ever forget that?
Oh, absolutely not. And I totally understand that. And I'm not saying that like the Iranians don't have an axe to grind, but I'm saying that their current government now and why their government is the way that it is removed from like that whole like issue with the Shah and stuff.
This was just a pendulum
has
swing.
a lot more to do.
They needed a strong man to step up and be like, I'm going to lead and, fuck outside interference with our elections. Like, this is, we're going to put all these laws into place so that this will never happen again. And they just totally overdid it. And we're going to go back and try to do like a redo. Like, and there's no world, there's not even a scenario or a path forward where we're going to undo that. In fact, we thought we were going to undo that. There was a guy that we were going to try to install who we don't even know was alive anymore. We did some bombing outside of his house, killed the guards that were pretty much keeping him in prison. He's gone. He's nowhere to be found. But there's no path forward for us to undo this. Like, I think this is just a big boogeyman for us to point to when we're doing all of this failed bullshit over there. There's no actual plan. I think that what we're going to see in the next few weeks, months, years is us kind of slowly dwindling down our presence there and then signing an agreement to back off and claim we won even though we lost. I think that's literally what's going to happen. I don't think there's any other way other than that for us to exit Iran.
I would argue that I think that the goal is to weaken the Iranian government enough that they are forced to start making some capitulations to their own people. Because I think we can both agree their own people are very not happy right now. Their own people are very much on the edge of
but they
picking
look at
up
us,
guns and saying like
they look at us like terrorists, though, for sure. Like even if they're on the opposite side of the IRGC, they look at us after bombing like school children and after like fucking up their entire economy. They're not being like, you know what, we should really do something super democratic now. No, they're going to fucking do something insane. They are completely radicalized against us and Israel even more than before. They will continue to be hostile. And they're going to look to their allies like Russia to get every edge up they can to fuck us over for the next 50 years again.
But I would argue that there's definitely plenty of Western-leaning Iranians who are, represent the business class, represent the people living in Tehran. Those people obviously do not want to live under a theocratic government or an oppressive government. They have lives. They run companies inside of Iran. They deal with Westerners and all day long. So I don't think that those people I think those people are getting very sick of living under an oppressive government. And I think that if we can weaken the Iranian government enough,
no matter what,
yeah.
the Iranian government can usurp all of the money and continue running their military government long before the government. Like, if you speak out against the government, you just get killed, right? And they're
Right,
more
but
they're even more military presence than ever right now. They're like building up military presence, and there's even more of a reason to do so now, to enlist, especially if your mom or your son or daughter was killed by us. There's even more reason to enlist.
I would argue, though, that my question would be, what would the alternative policy be on Iran, if not to start to limit that government's power, and especially limit that government's access to nuclear weapons? What would have been the best policy then?
I think Trump is the one who's allowed them to enrich uranium. If you're unfamiliar with the JCPOA, they were adhering to it 100%. The only thing we can point to was the fact that they were building ballistic missiles, which, I don't know, if you believe that Israel should still have missiles, you absolutely should believe that Iran should have a military.
I'm going to see how the Israeli thinking. I think that's an ideological battle, because, I mean, obviously you're going to say Israel's the bad guys. Obviously, I'm going to say Israel's the good guys.
I think Israel's just as bad as Iran, probably worse.
Oh, I completely disagree with that one.
All right.
I can actually prove that that's not even true.
All right.
Okay.
How so?
So if I am, let's say I'm a gay man in Iran, and I want to live openly with my spouse, what's going to happen to me?
You'll probably get sex reassignment surgery forced by the government, and become a trans woman, I mean.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to do that in Israel, what would happen to me?
You would still be shunned. It's still not very likely that if you were like a non-Jewish person that you would do well in Israel. But I think the alternative is, like, Israel is as radicalized as, in my opinion, some of the worst fascist countries you can imagine. Like, think 1930s, 40s. They are just as radicalized, just as fascist as anybody else in that time period.
Okay, let's say I'm a reporter, and I decide that I think that the government of Iran is corrupt, and I think there's corrupt officials in Iran, and I run a news story about the corruption of Iran. What's the government of Iran going to do to me?
There's a ton of countries like this, right, by the way, but none of them get to hold hands with the United States and act on the world stage the way that Israel does. Their bombing of people in Lebanon and in Gaza is just as atrocious as anything you can point to going on internally in Iran or the terrorist groups they support. In fact, we're worse than anybody in Iran. Right now, we are strangling Cuba, and 32,000 people have died as a result of it. We are just as bad as the ugliest people you can point to in Iran.
I think that's a forced equivalence, because yes, like, we've done some shitty things. Obviously, we have. I mean, you're a giant world power. That's going to happen. But at the same time, it's not like, we're out, like, killing people in the name of, being an oppressive government. Like, just out. I mean, I think the government of Iran would admit that, yes, we oppress our people. Like, that's what we do.
Cuba, we're just killing Cubans just because we claim they're communist or something. Like, we're going to save you. By the way, we're going to kill a lot of you saving you.
Well, I mean, we have the embargo in Cuba, but it's not like we're going out shooting Cubans.
So
I hate to put it in that term.
I would say that there's far more suffering when you starve people, or when, like, an entire hospital's, like, people in ICU die because they lose power in one night. That's just as bad or horrific. We're just causing famine, right? That's pretty bad.
And I agree that the embargo on Cuba hasn't worked. Like, it hasn't. Obviously, the embargo on Cuba has not happened. Cuba is still a socialist dictatorship. So obviously the embargo
understand-
isn't working.
You understand, like, it's not just an embargo right now. You understand we have, like, the whole island surrounded.
Yeah, I'm aware. But
Like,
But at the same
surgeons
time,
are
I mean-
doing surgery in hotel rooms with flashlights. That's what we've done
But at the same
to
time-
Cuba.
Cuba could make democratic moves. Cuba could say, hey, you know what? This is bad. Okay, fine. You're right. We're going to have some press freedom. We're going to have some, allow some access of foreign observers into our
but-
country, and then say,
We're just
give us
choosing
some relief.
favorites. Trump just went and tried to get the autocratic leader of Hungary reinstalled. He's right now trying to get Honduras, former autocrat, re-put in place into power in Honduras. Like, we can't sit here and virtue signal like, oh, look at this authoritarian government, we need to save them. No, Trump is simply just playing his cards with his best friends, enriching himself, enriching oil CEOs, basically just doing dictator playbook, holding hands with all of his favorite dictator friends, saying, hey, you're not my favorite dictator, so we're going to attack you.
So the opposing argument, though, is to just say, okay, hey, like all these autocrats, especially in Cuba, that's right off the border of Florida, it's okay to have like all these autocrats just running around.
Apparently, according to Trump, it is. Like, on the left, we are against all of that, but we also know that intervening and doing regime change in any country has never worked. If we force the regime change in Cuba, we're looking at another, 50 to 100 years of them swinging the other way, and like politically going, well, fuck all this westernized shit. They forced this onto us. This is like the bastard of a government that we used to have.
So you're saying that like the U.S. has never had positive regime change happen based on
Can you tell me
their
one time?
Yeah, Japan. Like after World War II, MacArthur came in. He completely gutted like the government of Japan, and now like we're all watching anime. Like, I mean, so it proves that like at a certain point, regime change can happen. I mean, look at Italy. We went from fascist Italy to now people driving Ferraris.
Yeah, that was different.
It can happen.
They
can
lost
do
a
a
whole
regime
war.
change.
Like, they basically overthrew it themselves.
Okay, but I'm saying like, how is that any different than if we were to say go into Cuba and say, hey, Cubans, rise up, we're with you, and then overthrow like the Cuban government?
Yeah,
or
but Trump's not doing that.
Iranians
He's
trying
to install someone, right? Like Trump is releasing people from prison who have shipped like 300 tons of cocaine to our country to kill people. He's putting those people in power. He's not trying to get like some Western person in power.
So my question is, okay, where would you like to see foreign policy go under like Democrat leadership? Then that would be the effect of limiting totalitarianism in the world, but wouldn't be Trump's policies. Like, other than just saying, hey, we're just going to do nothing. Like, what's the policy?
So I think that Trump enabling authoritarians across the world completely cancels out any sort of like virtue signaling you can do to countries who are trying to do regime change. But I think that us giving people humanitarian aid like USAID, not gutting that, was great. I think that's great. I think that us giving people like the JCPOA in Iran, that was an awesome platform for us to slowly give them the means of having a healthy economy again, and possibly looking towards Western ideas again, looking at us like we're the good guys, leading by example. Trump has completely fucked that up. Same thing with Cuba. They will never look to us and be like, let's be like them.
I would also argue with the whole Cuba thing that, I mean, we are giving Cuba a crap ton of oil that's coming like right now, like currently coming over to Cuba right now. Like, so we are giving aid.
Is it
to
us or
Cuba.
Russia?
Us. The United States government is giving oil to Cuba currently. And has been. I mean, has been. It's not a new thing.
We are not giving oil Cuba right now. Just Googled
I
it.
believe,
We have an energy blockade right now.
and as part of aid, this whole thing, we are giving oil to Cuba. It was reported on the news not too long ago.
We've depleted their reserves. We blockaded them. They have a grid failure today, right now. We've offered $100 million U.S. Aid package and held talks in Havana to discuss the ongoing energy blockade. And that article was 7 days ago. Where are you seeing that we're doing something for them?
I think I saw it. It was on News Nation 2 days ago.
2 days ago, we have NPR saying Cuba's out of oil. What now? Cuba is running out of oil, according to the country's government, which is dealing with an energy blockade. The U.S. has stopped all shipments of Venezuelan oil to Cuba in an effort to force, and that's pretty much half the reason we went to Cuba and did that shit. Cubans are now living with sustained blackouts, relying on wood and charcoal to cook and get light. I don't see anything where we're giving them stuff.
Permission to look for my source?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll be right back too. Chat, don't forget to follow the stream. If you enjoy these debates, we do these all the time. I am going out of town in a few hours. I'm going to be gone for a week. I'll be doing some remote streams, but yeah, we'll be a little bit scarce in the following week. What's up, man? Are you back?
According to the New York Times, I'll use this first. That there was a Russian oil tanker that, because we had had obviously oil sanctions against the Russians and the Cubans, and the U.S. allowed the oil tanker to go through and deposit oil to Cuba.
That was weeks ago, wasn't it?
I'm like just now. Did I drop the call?
Only to private sector companies. The government cannot use the oil.
Right. That was, an argument that we made was that we said was, hey, like the government can't use the oil. I like I said, I mean, I will concede that if I can't find the thing from News Nation talking about like that, but
all right. I just think that we, for the first time, like in a long time, the whole world is looking at the United States quite literally like terrorists. We've lost the trust of all of our meaningful allies, and we're making bigger, stronger relationships with like the actual bad guys, like Milei and Argentina and Russia. Like Trump is enabling Russia's efforts on the Ukrainian war front by letting them trade oil again, just so that he doesn't lose the midterms so bad, so that it softens the price of oil.
Where is Trump letting the Russians trade oil?
He put a 90-day lift on their sanctions, and he's going to extend it for as long as he needs to. He already made one extension.
Yeah, fair enough. But I would also argue that, I mean, under the Trump campaign, we've been doing a hell of a lot for the Ukrainians. I mean, just an insane amount.
I think that Trump was the biggest gift to Russia. He's basically ran on pretty much defunding Ukraine, which is really bad for Western efforts. And if given the opportunity, he could, and he would have the backing of every single MAGA person to stop funding Ukraine. Meanwhile, we're talking about how bad it is in Iran, even though Russia's slaughtering innocent Ukrainians, invading their land.
But I would also argue that, I mean, we've never cut funding for like Ukraine. Like it's kind of up in Congress, but even like with Republicans, no one has said, the Republican majority, nobody said, oh yeah, let's like cut funding to the Ukrainians. Like that's not happened. They've still got they've still got access to, tons of American stuff coming in all the time.
The administration has not requested any fresh military or financial aid for Ukraine. They omitted funds for Ukraine's security assistance initiative. They paused the aid. The administration has temporarily suspended existing pipelines of military assistance. He's made Zelensky look like a clown on the world stage. Pretty much just stepped on his head while he was drowning. He's tried to sway other world leaders into doing the same thing. He's also stepping back from NATO. Like, NATO's weaker than ever. It's fractured. Russia will be 7 times more likely to invade another neighbor the second we leave NATO, which is, I hear a lot of right-wingers saying that they're ready for that.
I agree. We can agree leaving NATO is a bad idea.
You need to tell your friends, dude, because there's a lot of right-wingers that are for leaving NATO. They completely misunderstand how it works. They think that we fund the whole thing. They think that it'll save us money if we leave or something. I think it's so dangerous the way Trump has made Putin seem like a brilliant man, or
See, I don't see Trump as being an aid to Putin. I mean, I think Trump has taken like the view that, arguably that like it's not, the whole Ukraine war wasn't necessarily like a good fight to get into, which I disagree with Trump on. But I don't think Trump has taken this, oh, Putin's a great guy, I'm going to help him in this whole thing.
He's rolled out a red carpet.
I think that's
I've seen nothing but people praising how Xi Jinping has rolled out this red carpet for Trump, saying that the optics were so good. How do you feel like Russians feel when we do that for Putin? Russians are playing things like Fox News. They're playing things like Fox News and Trump's speeches and Trump slamming Zelensky to basically reinforce the propaganda machine in Russia. And they've stopped 99% of funding for Ukraine, by the way, Trump has in his first year.
Source for that?
In his first year, 99% of all aid cut to Ukraine.
I haven't seen where we've had like 99% cuts to Ukraine. Because as far as I know, we are still giving the Ukrainians like drones and HIMARS and all that stuff.
I think we've asked Ukraine for help in regards to drones.
Yeah, but I've also believed that we've given like Ukrainians like a ton of drones. I think we still are. I personally was following a British soldier that was in Ukraine. Is currently in Ukraine, and he was saying that they were still getting like tons of foreign aid, even from Americans. Like, I mean, it's like tons of foreign aid. It wasn't the right aid, but the aid was still coming in.
Oh, they're fulfilling pre-approved aid packages from Biden administration.
Okay, but so I mean, we haven't approved more, but we're still meeting our obligations. And when those obligations have been met, we might still give them more. I mean, just saying, well, we're not giving you any more doesn't mean that we're not still supporting you.
But now we have an even bigger monster to fight because Trump has breathed life back into the Russian economy.
Yes, I would argue that like we should have kept those sanctions on Iran. I think that's reasonable. not exactly sure what I think other than potentially for like humanitarian reasons, he was just like, hey, like Russian oil's got to flow a little bit because we need oil prices to go down. And I mean, like I said, like in the issue with like Cuba, it's like,
Well, then you would definitely not approve of what Trump's doing in Iran.
it's the Iranians that are keeping the oil from flowing through the Persian Gulf. I mean, they mined that. We didn't mine the Persian Gulf.
We
That was
didn't
something
have
that
to
they
attack
decided.
them. They've mined it even more heavily in the last few weeks, but this is a totally new dynamic that Trump has introduced to us because we unprovoked we have attacked Iran. They were not an imminent threat. Our own chief of counterterrorism has stepped down because this was such an unprovoked war. There was no imminent threat whatsoever. I don't see how this fight is what you choose over defending Ukraine. I think the same rules applied both places. We would stop funding Iran and fund Ukraine.
So, okay. My argument, though, is that Iran was 100% an imminent threat. I mean, the UN's own observers said that they were months away from building that they could have built a nuclear bomb within
Because of Trump.
that short a time period.
Because of Trump.
Regardless of because of who, they were still an imminent threat. I mean, if you have a regime that says, "Hey, we want to destroy the Western world," and we are months away from building a nuclear weapon, I mean, once you get to that point, you got to do something. I mean,
we will never ever be okay with the way Iran is and their ability to have their own military or whatever, or enrich uranium without something exactly like the JCPOA in place again. And they will never do. The reason they're enriching uranium is because they want another JCPOA. They want a better deal, or they want another deal. We gave them supervision with the IAEA. And we were supervising their facilities at enrich uranium with satellite, with cameras, with personnel on ground. We did 300 supervisions each year. We went and investigated their facilities. That is the only way we'll know that they're not enriching uranium. What are we going to do right now? Like tell them to hand it all over and pinky promise that they don't have more or they're not going to do more?
Well, now we can make an agreement that says, hey, look, you have to have foreign observers in, or anytime we see anything that involves any kind of enriching of uranium, we're just going to remove it. I mean, we could just say, look, no, there's no more nuclear facilities in Iran, period, at this point. And I mean, we can enforce that now. We can just say, no, sorry, you can't have any access to uranium, period, because you've proven that you can't be trusted to have that access.
Well, they were absolutely adhering to the program when it was in place. They didn't reach above 3.9%. But when they pulled out, they're like, well, fuck, now we have to start re-enriching so that we can get another deal. Because what cards do we have? We're just going to sit on our hands, pray that they come. Like, we don't have any leverage.
I'm saying, like, but the Iranians could have at any point in time said, okay, hey, look, building a nuke is a bad idea for us, and just said, you know what, hey, America, rest of the world, we agree, we don't need a nuke. And they could have just said, hey, we're just going to have some nuclear power plant.
Netanyahu has been trying to convince us that they have a nuke since 1950, even when they weren't. And he's been drooling at the idea of us enabling them doing a war with Iran. And Trump is the only cuck that's been able to fall for it. He's enabled them to perpetuate this red herring in Iran by pulling us out of the JCPOA. That's why.
Okay. Here's a question that I would ask you, though, is Iran is a ridiculously oil-rich country, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Right. And they also have, the capabilities, a huge solar power industry, correct? Like, they have just, plenty of access to that.
You said solar power?
Right. Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So your country can power itself through solar, can power itself through oil, probably has huge natural gas reserves, and yet you decide, well, my country also needs nuclear power. For what end?
It's not just for nukes, right? Like you need these things for X-ray machines, for
Right.
what are they? Where you like lie down in a bed and you go into that like cylinder. What the fuck?
Yeah.
There's a ton of actual civilian uses for it, not just
I agree.
energy. But I think that like diversifying as much as possible is good for any country. Like you can't just say, well, they're Iranian, they shouldn't have it.
But what I'm getting at, though, is they didn't need that much. They didn't need, so much infrastructure. They didn't need to take it so close to like turning it into a military issue.
They weren't
took
until
it
we pulled
right
out of the
to the end.
JCPOA. They weren't. They had
They
3.69.
still made sure they negotiated exactly to 3.69, which is a tiny distance from what needed to be done to make the bomb.
I think you have
Like
your
they
like
said, hey.
timeline mixed up because when we pulled out in 2018, they had 3.9. From
Right.
2018 to 2020 something, then they had 60%. 60% is what you're talking about when they were like weeks away.
Right. And I agree that like once we pulled out of the JCPOA, they were like, screw it. We're gonna, take the cloth off. We've been doing this all along. Now we're at 60%. Because I mean, it wasn't like, we pulled out of the JCPOA and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, by the way, we have all this infrastructure now and all these centrifuges. We can now take that to, almost to a bomb. They already had that technology under the Obama administration.
I don't think so.
They were
man.
cheating.
I don't think the IAEA doesn't agree with you. Like they said, they didn't have all of those. Like this, it's the same equipment to enrich it from 3.9 to 60. It's just a longer process.
But I'm saying they definitely knew how to do that. They definitely put the time and effort into that, and had that system already set up during like when we were still under the JCPOA treaty. They just waited until that treaty was done, and then said, okay, well now we might as well But they always had that capability.
That's not saying anything though. It's like yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like to get it to 3.9, it's just the same thing. To get it to 60, it's just a longer process.
What I'm saying is there was never any negotiation with the Iranians that was going to say, hey, no, you have to significantly give up some technology to say, hey, we're not going to advance towards a nuclear weapon. We didn't say, hey, look, you cannot have the technology to do that. They never agreed to anything like that. They never agreed to any hard limits to say, okay, no, we won't have the ability to get a bomb. All they just said was, okay, yeah, we're going to enrich our uranium to 3 percent. But at any given moment, we can just decide to make the bomb. I mean, that's kind of a weird negotiation stance. Like, okay, we say that we would like you to not shoot at us anymore, and you say, okay, we won't shoot at you anymore, but we're still going to keep the gun in case we decide someday we want to shoot at you again. I mean, that was kind of like a weak negotiation point.
Iran so badly wants to be able to trade with the rest of the world. They want that more than they want nuclear bombs. If you ask any Iranian, nukes are haram. It's against their religion. So, I think it's a much easier conversation to have if we did 10 years of, a good relationship with them, keeping them at JCPOA, saying if you're adhering to it, then good. If you're not, then we can renegotiate and we can look at this and do something civil. But Trump, the least diplomatic person I can imagine doing anything on the world stage, came in and fucked it all up. And I think that he did it on behalf of Netanyahu. I know that's a conspiracy, but I don't think it's that far-fetched. I think he literally did this on behalf of Netanyahu. And I think that he's doing it for his own personal reasons, for his own stepson's personal reasons. And he just so happens to also just be getting very rich doing this, playing the markets, promising that the strait's going to be open. He just did it again. He just did it over this Memorial Day weekend. He's like, oh, we're in the middle of a negotiation. It was a complete lie. There was not even a fucking negotiation. And he played the oil markets. And he's probably made hundreds of millions of dollars just saying this over and over again in the last 8-9 weeks. He's doing
Your
it with
argument
faces.
is, get this right, that Trump tore up the CLA in order to make money on the oil market.
For Netanyahu, I think that he tore up the JCPOA because Netanyahu wanted him to do so, and he is just acting on behalf of Netanyahu now. I think he's just doing it. Him and Netanyahu are good friends, dude. Netanyahu visited Mar-a-Lago multiple times before in between presidencies. His stepson Jared Kushner is Netanyahu's fucking godson. And Jared Kushner is the trade link. He is the company that you have to pay if you want money to go from Saudi Arabia to Israel. Jared Kushner's your guy. Every penny has to go through him. He is making so much money. He made billions as ambassador in the Middle East in his first administration.
But if we're saying that the Iranians could have been trusted this whole time, then when we ripped up the agreement, why didn't they make an agreement with the UK or make an agreement with Russia or any other country and say, hey, look, the Americans are being crazy, but we're still going to meet our end of the agreement.
They already were. But we put sanctions on them. So like the UK, all the signatories in the JCPOA and the IAEA, all of them said, do not pull out. Do not do this, United States. Do not do that. We are seeing our side be met. And when we pulled out and placed sanctions back on Iran, there was no reason for them to continue.
But I'm saying the Iranians could have said, what the hell is that? And could have just said, hey, no, sorry, we're going to still meet our end of the deal. And then we would have looked like the idiots. But obviously Iran didn't take that bet.
They did.
Iran didn't take that bet, though. Iran said, no, we're going to start making nukes.
Why would they continue to adhere to a deal while we're strangling their economy? Like we were stopping them from getting medicine that was just killing them.
Because they could have then gone back to our allies and said, hey, look, America's being stupid, and we're still going to meet the end of our deal. You should still trade with us. You should ignore the sanctions of the United States. But they didn't do that because they knew they were cheating.
We would have.
They knew they couldn't back it up.
We would have sanctioned anybody who would have broke those sanctions. Everybody in the EU.
And you're saying if the EU said, "Hey, no, America, on this we don't agree with you. We've seen the Iranians have been meeting their end of the deal. That the EU could have said, "Hey, America, bite us. We're not gonna agree with these sanctions on Iran."
I don't think you can do that. I just don't think you can. Like. You've seen how Trump has tried to manipulate the entire world economy at this point. Their economies would collapse without our cooperation.
I don't think that Trump would have gone after them. I think Trump would have been like, okay, yeah, I lose on that because I mean you can't fight the EU.
Absolutely
the EU
not. Dude, Trump is absolutely doing. He's still doing that. He is. Like, even with the failed tariffs, he's trying to go and he has almost no recourse, but he's still trying to strong-arm the EU.
And he hasn't been successful.
We still have 10% tariffs on him.
But I'm just saying, the EU is a massive economy. It's as big as the U.S. economy. We're not going to sanction the EU to oblivion. That would be suicide. So if Iran could have gone to the EU, they could have gone to Russia, they could have gone to India, any of those countries, and said, hey, we're not building a nuke. We're not building a nuke.
Someone says
the Americans that's off.
Someone said they adhered all the way for like a year after. But they had to tap out.
But I'm just saying, they never had to tap out. They could have just said, fine, the agreement still works for us. And then we would have looked like a ginormous jackass. Instead, they said, oh, no, actually, we want to build the nuke.
I mean, even Lindsey Graham tried to introduce, it was so urgent. Lindsey Graham's like, yo, we need to get a new Iran nuclear deal going. And even he was stopped by Republicans in Congress.
And I'm not saying that, Trump has gracefully handled the Iran thing. I'm just saying that there was no space where we could have trusted the Iranians once we got to the point where they were saying, okay, yeah, we're going to make the nuke. Once the agreement had been busted and they had acted in the way that they did, Iran did, There was no way that we could have gone back to that.
So, I mean, we're gonna have to do something either way, right? Like, there's no path
Oh, yeah.
forward without doing something similar to the JCPOA. Just not.
Oh, I agree. But I'm saying it's going to have to be an agreement that's a lot stricter than the JCPOA was originally,
Why would they
which
ever
wasn't all that strict.
like, why would they ever trust Trump to do it, though? I think it's gonna have to take place after Trump leaves office. Your mic is actually like really bad, and I was gonna ask if I can just get you to call back some other time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's getting late. Thanks for the debate.
All right, anytime, man. Take it easy.
Yep. Peace.
Charlie Brown's teacher. Yeah, sorry, chat. Woof. Guys, I do have a Cash App and PayPal in the bio. If you guys are trying to support me, it's one of the best ways to do it. I'm going out of town this week, y'all. For those who didn't hear earlier, I'm going to be out of town for about a week. I'm going to be trying to do like remote streams here and there. But yeah, until then, I am going to be scarce. And thank you all for the heart maze. Thank you guys for all the gifts. I don't know what to do with myself, y'all. I do have to leave for the airport in about 2 hours. Maybe 3. But it's getting to be that kind of time of night. YouTube, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. How was there only 1 like on the stream on YouTube? We have 80 people watching. Come on now. Good debate. That was fun. Thanks, Justin. Oil Corp squashed renewable energy for 6 years. Now I know it's almost over, so war it is. I agree with that too. I mean, big oil. You know who's raking in the dough right now? Big oil. Oil prices skyrocketed. The same oil they've been holding on to for years is now, what, like almost doubled in price. Thanks, Illa. Ooh. Chat, should I play Crimson Desert until I get off? I kind of just want a game. I just want to let my hair down and game. Maybe tomorrow night there'll be drunkies. I'm surprised I didn't get banned for saying my first guest should get face effed with a shovel. Have y'all seen that guy that has fucking 4 wives and 25 kids? Fucking reckless, dude. Dude, that guy was weird. How do you convince 4 people to marry you when you're that fucking weird? That guy was gross, dude. If I ever saw that guy in real life, I don't know what I'd do. "92 million Democrats on welfare. I'm not smart." Every single red state's on blue state welfare. Yeah, there was a guest earlier that he had 4 wives, 25 kids. Was a super Christian dude. and he had a young child in his profile picture who was going to be his next wife. That child's parents had already given him the approval or whatever for that girl to marry him later on when she aged into adulthood. I think that it's something like 40 million people receive food stamps. I don't even think that many people receive welfare. Kelly, thank you for the $20. Not much, but I hope you have a safe trip. Thank you so much, Kelly. John Tyler had many wives. What? Guys, don't forget to follow this, by the way. This is a differing account for some of y'all. If you haven't hit this plus sign, be sure to do so. Thank you so much. Tic Tac, what are you doing up so late, dude? I'm a pro food stamp Republican. Dude, everybody should be pro food stamps. If you are against food stamps, you're just radicalized from right-wing messaging. Every bit of food stamps is good. You can be upset about the idea of the caricature of a poor person buying cigarettes and beer with it. That's on you. That's on you. Long story short, food stamps is good for the economy. 1 out of every 5 kids go to bed hungry every night, and you're a fucking shell of a human. You're a literal idiot if you want to make that more kids. If you want more kids to go to bed hungry, that's on you, dude. You're a fucking idiot. You had a party tonight? What? If they've got you fighting over 1% of our federal budget, you're the mark. You're the mark. While they fucking divvy up millions and billions of dollars of subsidiaries to shoot rockets into space, and you're fucking worried about how someone spends food stamps, that's on you, dude.
Yo,
What's up? Are you a Trump
so,
supporter?
yeah.
Cool. What do you like about Trump?
Well, that's what I came up here to ask you. I mean, what do you dislike about Trump? Says Trump sucks, debate me. You made this claim. I'm wondering what the argument that Trump sucks is.
Yeah, Trump has completely ruined our economy, ruined the world economy. He's divided us socially more than we've ever been. Families have been separated. People have been divorced. He's sitting in there enriching himself. He's by far easily the most corrupt president we've ever had. He just sued himself for billions of dollars so he can hand it out to people who did an insurrection.
All right, we can go through that one by one. So, what's the argument that he ruined the economy?
Yeah, so for the first time since World War II, our debt has surpassed our GDP, which is bad for us. It's bad for our ability to borrow money. It fucks up our credit score. We have less money to go towards programs to do social safety nets to make our economy more efficient. We'll have to print more money if we want more money, which causes inflation, which is something that Republicans are really good at.
Well, what's the argument that there being debt entails the first couple things that you said? That's what I'm wondering. I don't see the connection there.
Yeah, not one single economic metric is doing good. Can you name one economic
No,
metric
that's not what that's not what I'm asking for the reasoning for. So there are a couple of things that you laid out as entailments of there being a high debt. I'm asking, what's the argument that the high debt entailed that? And
The
even
high
if I
debt
do grant
entailed
these
what?
things, I mean, the
That it's a
entailments that
bad
you listed from
economy?
it, that I mean, it makes it harder to borrow, makes it harder on the people, right? The working families. I
Are you over
mean,
18?
you said that those were entailments of there being a really high debt.
Yeah.
I'm asking, what's the reasoning for that?
Yeah. So just like when you're trying to get a bank loan, They look at what your income is versus how much debt you have. They do
Well,
the
I'm asking
same
for the
exact
argument.
thing
I'm
for
asking for
us.
like an analogy for me to understand. I just want like the argument, if that's fine. If
Yeah,
not,
our
then that's
credit rating
completely
has
cool.
gone down as a country. There you go.
Well, yeah, well, that's not an argument for what you said. I don't think you're understanding here.
Are
Conceptually,
you?
on their
Don't
slow boy.
Philbro this, dude. You just want to
It's not.
address
It's
what I'm
not Bill,
saying.
bro. It's just me asking for the reasoning for the claims that you're making, and you're kind of failing conceptually on their slow boy. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. Just provide the argument.
Trump has
I'm
put
done
us
being
into
nice.
25% of this country's debt is because of Trump. We have fewer people with social safety nets than ever, and we're in the most debt ever.
Okay. Does Trump make the budget? Yes or no?
I'm sorry?
Does Trump make the budget?
Say that slowly.
Does Trump make the budget?
Trump does approve the budget, yes.
Oh, Trump made the budget. Man, you're very intelligent.
Okay.
So you failed to provide the argument that just made an extreme blunder like the dumb fuck that you are. So if I catch you, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. That's very embarrassing. How are you gonna say
Okay,
Trump
dude.
sucks, not provide any reason for your claims, and then say Trump made the budget? You think Trump brought out the fucking 1,000-page fucking budget?
Yes.
He's a fucking congressman.
Trump is
He's the 200 people in Congress who made the budget.
Trump definitely makes
Very
demands
intelligent.
for things like the big beautiful bill. He made demands for how he wanted that shaped. He has installed people into Congress
that.
and into his cabinet that have done egregious things to misappropriate funds, such as Pete Hegseth with military, or with Kash Patel with the FBI, going on fucking little private escapades to do snorkeling with his buddies. Trump has absolutely bastardized the integrity of our federal government, and he is now enriching himself. He has made billions of dollars last year, and America's poorer than ever. He is making multiple demands for things like ballrooms, with building giant arcs, and while Americans continue to struggle,
and you were still wrong.
He has enriched the absolute fuck out of himself.
Yeah, I can grant all of that, and you were still wrong. You still blundered pretty badly there. I'm trying to get like the post-game interview on that. How do you feel that you said that Trump made the budget? Like, you really did not think about that, huh?
Heavens to Betsy. I know Congress holds the purse strings, but Trump approves it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't mean
Does he not make demands on how the budget should look like? I think he's literally bought and paid every single person in Congress that still has a seat. He has backed him to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. If you don't think that they're in his pocket, you're wrong, dude. You're wrong.
Well, yeah, I think there are a couple who are in his pocket.
Most of them are in his pocket.
Okay, well, you said every single one of them. Now you're saying most of them.
All right. Well, we're not
All right,
gonna split hairs on this, right?
conversation,
What happened to
man.
Thomas Massey? What happened to Thomas Massey?
I don't know who that is.
All right. Get
Nah,
out
I'm
of
a
here.
dip. I'll catch you later, man.
You're fucking 16, aren't you, dude? Get out of here. Oh. What's up, waffles? Have you ever seen a happy Democrat? Have you ever seen a happy Republican? They constantly come up here and just fucking yell slurs. And their biggest grievance is minorities or trans people. I still posit that conservatives can't assimilate to American culture. Conservatives cannot assimilate. I think undocumented migrants assimilate faster to American culture than conservatives do. I've talked to grown men that cry about having to hear someone use a foreign language in HEB. Talking about preserving the whiteness of this country. Talking about worried about how people spend their food stamps. It's the biggest thing, dude. It's the biggest thing to y'all. The left-wing party of this country wants to feed and house everybody. The right wing of this country are white supremacists, neo-Nazis, anti-government weirdos, flat earthers, Christian nationalists. And they all fucking suck. Dude, 2% of the Republican Party is flat earth. It's not both sides. That's millions of people. Flat earth. Flat earth? Right-wing people are not concerned about the whiteness of this country. That's a thing left says to scare minorities. Charlie Kirk said it himself. Democrats want to see this country become less white. Charlie Kirk said it. Says that the Great Replacement theory is not a theory. It's truth. It's fact. If you just look at yesterday's stream, there was somebody who's proudly like a neo-Yahtzee. They're everywhere. Look at Nick Fuentes. He's such a huge following. He's a fucking titan on social media. Every single one of those people are white supremacists.
Hi, Pickles.
Are you doing, Kobe?
I'm doing good. I was scrolling in and out of your live, and I heard like a previous guest was talking about Iran, and I just kept listening to you guys. But then you mentioned sanctions, and I left. But then I wanted to come back to talk to you about sanctions. Have you seen have you read? There was a Lancet journal on this, which I'd highly recommend everyone to read. It's effects of sanctions on infant mortality rate or something like that. Wait, let me get the exact name.
Yeah, the Lancet Global Health found that sanctions reduce healthcare spending, raise infant mortality rates by roughly 3.1% annually. An AIDS sanction lasting 5 years can negate nearly 30% of progress in infant survival previously made in low and middle income countries.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the same one, but there was a hold on. Oh, there we go. So it was released in 2025. It's called Effects of International Sanctions on Age-Specific Mortality. Sorry, that's the one. So, Effects of International Sanctions on Age-Specific Mortality, a cross-national panel data analysis.
I've got another one. Impact of AIDS sanctions on maternal and child mortality too. 1990 to 2019.
Yeah, but this one specifically, what it does is it analyzes the effect on health of populations, specifically 152 countries between 1971 and 2021, to see how sanctions impacted the age-specific mortality rates within these countries. And they try to find a causal association between sanctions and increased mortality in these countries. And they found that they estimated that through US and European sanctions, annually, a total of 564,258 deaths were recorded. So more than 500,000 people annually since 1979 have been unalived because of US and European sanctions. which is between 1971 and 2021, about more than 28 million people,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Yeah. And so because I think the person prior to this was talking about sanctions, and a lot of people don't understand how negatively what the hell did I do? Oh my god. Hold on. One second.
You want a
What
picture?
is up
Just
with my
ask.
phone?
I got you.
No. I didn't even. I swear to God, I did not mean to take a
It's
picture.
okay.
I tried to increase the volume, and it accidentally just screenshotted. My bad, y'all. I swear, I tried to increase the volume because it was too low, and all of a sudden it just screenshotted. My bad. Um, I swear I'm not a creep. I was not trying to take a screenshot. Um, no, but so as I was saying, so it found that sanctions had substantial adverse effects on public health, with the death toll being similar to that of armed conflict or wars. And I just wanted to kind of like spread this around because a lot of people don't understand to how much sanctions impact societies, especially when it comes to the child mortality rate. And so this study is a really good study that delves into how, and also it also said that the mortality rate, especially for children who are under the age of 5, increased because of sanctions. And it just kind of gives you a grasp into how sanctions within themselves, I don't know, as a foreign policy tool, is horrific. It's kind of like it's imperialist as well, basically, because if over 28 million people were unalived since 1971, between 1971 and 2021.
Yeah, there is like there is literally no difference between military action
Mm-hmm.
like you hear about in Iran and what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing to Cuba. There's no difference. There's no difference
Mm-hmm.
between that and what we do to yeah, people like Iran, withholding medicine, withholding aid. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Exactly.
I would almost make a case it's worse, right? Like the suffering is ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah. It is ongoing, right? And like I like how within this study they also made like they distinguished between economic sanctions, specifically that are intended to like restrict aid or any financial transaction, and non-economic sanctions, which are deals with which kind of like are sanctions applied to arms trade or military assistance or travel as well, by the way, or other issues, right? So yeah, and then they also found that sanctions applied by the US or the EU led to a higher mortality rate than sanctions applied by the United Nations. So, yeah, and I agree with TikTok. The human brain cannot understand 28 million human bodies, but that just goes to show the level of impact that sanctions have and how they are also a part of um, uh, Western imperialism, or a tool that is used basically. But I was hearing like the guy talking about sanctions and how he was kind of like saying that they were good and when they were applied to Iran and all that stuff. And I just kind of like wanted to, I don't know, basically talk to you guys about how bad actually sanctions are, because you're basically punishing a population
yeah.
that has absolutely nothing to do with, by the way, what their government is doing, but you still end up punishing that population, and they're the ones who bear the brunt
Agreed.
of those sanctions. hmm So yeah, I can send you the study if you want.
Please do.
It's really good.
I
It's
also
not.
messaged you and you have not responded to my DM.
Oh my God, where did you message me?
I got into an Uber and I was like, "Hey, where are you from?" It was fucking Air Train.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, "You know what that is?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a friend on TikTok that's Air Train." And he's like, "Check this out." And I sent you a picture of it. I was like, "What does it say?"
Oh, that's so amazing. Okay, wait, hold on, I'll check. I'm so sorry. I'm really horrible with like my DMs and stuff like that and responding. But I'll definitely check it out. Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. He
Yeah.
probably was shocked because usually people do not know what Eritrea is, so he probably was happy. But how you been other than that?
I've been good. I'm about to go out of town and go to Colorado for a week to hang out with a friend and possibly see Good Trouble. That'd be cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to Colorado before?
No.
Oh, okay. That sounds really nice. How long is the trip gonna be?
A week. A week.
A whole week.
A week. Letting my hair down. It's my first vacation in I think a couple of years. So
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have fun.
thank you.
You have like an itinerary, or you
No,
just we're just
just
gonna
going with the
wing it?
flow. Just
Mm-hmm.
just going out there. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, sushi or something. This video's been stuck in my head,
Which
and I
video?
just have to show y'all. This is completely irrelevant,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want you to know this is a very important video to me. All right.
Oh, period.
You have to watch it again. Unbelievable.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're welcome, chat.
Oh, period. Oh, was that the person who won? Who won Eurovision?
I think that was them. Yeah. I didn't even know the
Darn.
context of that video, but that was enough for me to enjoy it.
Who won Eurovision? I want to see who won. I think is it oh, Bulgaria won. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, Eurovision is very weird, by the way. Eurovision produced, like, let's say ABBA, you know ABBA, the group.
Yeah.
They actually won Eurovision as well, I think, like in the 60s or 70s, and that's how they like became famous. But Eurovision is really weird, I'm not gonna lie. Do you guys know that Eurovision was created so that Europeans don't unalive each other after World War II? That was the whole, yeah, Eurovision, the whole point of Eurovision was it was created after World War II to kind of strengthen the relationship between European countries because they had just gone through two different wars. So it was started in 1956. It was supposed to kind of like quote unquote unite European countries so they don't go back into war and stuff like that because they had just gone through two world wars and centuries worth of wars as well. So they kind of like wanted to foster more unity and so that European countries can feel like they have like more of like a shared culture and entertainment and all that stuff. And that's why Eurovision was created in 1956.
Tic Tac. I want to. ABBA was not a Yahtzee youth band. They were a Swedish pop group formed in Stockholm.
Oh, who said that?
The rumor stems from a very real tragic connection involving one of its members, though. Band member Annie Frida Lingstad was born in Norway in late 1945. Her mother was Norwegian and her father was German sergeant. Frida was a product of a Lebensborn program, a Yahtzee human breeding experiment designed to expand the Aryan race by encouraging German soldiers to have children with Nordic
Oh
women.
my God. Uh-huh.
Whoa. Aftermath
Uh-huh.
following war, Frida and her mother and grandmother fled to Sweden to escape the severe persecution faced by those who had associated with occupying German forces. Whoa. That's wild.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, like if you look into the history, like the Yahtzees were very peculiar, which is an understatement. But you know that they went into Poland and they just randomly kidnapped like 30 to 40,000 Polish children because they were like, oh, these kids are blonde. They look Aryan. They must be long lost Germanic children and we need to return them to Germany and Germanize them. So they like kidnapped 30 to 40,000 Polish children. And then some of them, they sent them to Germany so they can get Germanized. and others they sent them to institutions that they built in Poland, which were supposed to like Germanize the children as well, like basically erase their Polish culture and make them into future German citizens because they actually intended on staying in Eastern Europe. So I think it was like 40,000 Polish children that they did that to. So yeah, the Nazis were very diabolical.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna bother you any longer. I just came up here to talk specifically about the sanctions because they were mentioned. But one thing I wanted to ask you before I go, do you think how long do you think it's gonna take for the Iran war to restart?
I don't know, 3 days? Is it? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I bet if anything, it'll kick up like in full speed after the midterms, if not before. But um, I mean, they took this time to put down a lot more what's it called, mines in the strait.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what our course of action here is.
Did you see Iran basically, I think yesterday, basically claimed that the negotiations were just going absolutely nowhere.
And that I've heard
Um,
that there's like not even really negotiations. It's like they just keep putting up the
mhm,
same demands, and the U.S. changes theirs, and they both say no, and then back to playing
mhm,
manipulating the market, saying that it's looking good, but it's really not.
mhm. Yeah, like they basically claim that they claim that the US keeps trying to negotiate um the like nukes, but Iran has no intention of keeping nukes, like the negotiations around nukes, on the table. And then also they were basically frustrated with the constant threats from Trump. Um and so that's why they claim that yeah, negotiations were probably off the table again. So and then I think I heard, like I read somewhere that Saudi Arabia was trying to push Trump to wait a bit longer um until he attacks again. I don't know why. I think they basically asked Trump to postpone it for another month.
Hmm.
um so yeah, I don't know. But then at the same time, like, ugh, I don't know. It's just strange. Strange. I low-key do hope that UAE gets hit a couple more times, but allegedly.
What is
Um,
the Hajj pilgrimage? Saudi authorities formally request an extension of this pause until the Hajj pilgrimage concludes, fearing that any Iranian retaliation could endanger millions of pilgrims to stabilize. Oh, this
yeah,
was
Hajj pilgrimage is basically between May 24th and May 29th, in which, like, basically a lot of pilgrims go to Saudi Arabia, and they go to like Mecca and Medina. It's like a religious sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. Um,
hmm.
and it's supposed to happen because um, Eid Eid al Adha or something like that is gonna come up. So it's like a special time for Muslims. Um, and Hajj within itself is like one of the 5 pillars of Islam, so it's kind of like mandatory. Yep. You see that Kaaba? You see the cloth on top of it? It's called the kiswa. Epstein got pieces of that cloth. Yeah, in one of the emails, It was a UAE-based Saudi businesswoman who somehow found a way, because the kiswa, I think, every year is changed and it's cut up and then it's sent to people who are religious scholars or religiously important as a gift. But for some reason, she was able to get it sent to Epstein. And in one of the emails, she basically says, millions of Muslims have touched this piece of cloth, like sacred cloth, and therefore she sent it to him in 2017, in early 2017. And I think it was a kind of like a Lokia power play, because he wanted to fit. And he did with the piece of that cloth, Pickles. He turned it into a rug. And then there was a photo of him stepping on the rug. Hold on, let me see that photo. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the exact article where they talk about it. Yes, I did go over that on my Okay, so it says it's an article from the Middle East Eye, and the article's name is Epstein and UAE businessman pictured with fragment resembling Kaaba cloth. If you find the article. So Epstein and UAE businessman pictured with fragment resembling Kaaba cloth.
Is it TABB? Tabby? Taba?
Kaaba. It's from Middle East Eye. No, that's on. Yeah.
That white
There's a whole.
piece? Or is it this piece?
Yeah. I think piece with the writing on it.
Okay.
The rug.
Oh, that's tile. Wow.
I think that those photos were in the Epstein files. Yeah.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
The way that people just forgot the Epstein files.
I think people have been conditioned to feel tired of hearing about it. I think people have been, like, especially on the right, I think that Trump has played his cards to where when they hear about it, they're just like, oh, like, stop it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, which is, I don't know. It's, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the Epstein files didn't trigger any outrage. I don't know. I don't know. I would have expected like some kind of revolt or protests or whatever it is, but people were just like, okay. Which there's so many distractions, like the UFO files being released, but I didn't go through those yet. But I don't know.
I saw a decent one. But it was from Colombia. It was a Colombian one, and it probably the clearest image I've saw of a whatever.
I didn't see that. What is that?
Let me see if I can find it. One of the clearest examples I've seen, and the spacecraft was this cool, kind of like, it's almost a disc. I don't know. I do have to get off soon. I got to get to the airport in a few hours. I got to walk my dog too, so I might shut down here soon.
Well, I hope you have a safe flight and have fun as well. Oh, hi, Matt. Matt in the chat. But anyway, hope you have fun and a safe flight. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you. It's always awesome seeing you. I hope you have a good night. Chat, I love yous. I am gonna get off here soon. I'm gonna be scarce this week. I'm gonna be scarce this upcoming week, but I appreciate you guys. Did you guys just raid me? You better not have raided me. Those were important files. I will see you guys. I will see you guys later, chat. Y'all have a good night. Wow, it's 1:30 or it's 1:54. I will catch you guys later, chat. You know, a while ago. Okay, good. All right, chat. I'll catch y'all soon. Be good. Yeah. Awkward ending.